It me. It me again. You thought you escaped. It's only been 13 hours, but I'm back. That's right, everyone. My name is Sclimbo Gamersups. Sclimbo Gamersups. Use code VTuber Mail for 10% off Gamersups. Do it, or else I'm gonna be killed. They're gonna kill me with a hammer. You don't want me to be killed by a hammer, do you? Please, please. Okay. There, get that out of the way. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome in Hugh, and welcome on the YouTube side. Yeah, thank you, Duntham. Thank you. What? Yeah, there's a gun off screen. It's hovering over my head. It needs you to buy Gamersups. Your little Sclimbo is gonna die unless you buy Gamersups. Yeah, no, it's okay though. We'll live. Lock in. Lost like 200. Oh, you don't know where we are yet though, Leafy. Let me welcome everyone in, by the way. Let me start at the top here with the check-ins. I'm gonna do this. All right, lock in. Here we go. Welcome in Mint. Welcome in Duntham. Welcome in Varm. Welcome in Stay Bright. Welcome in Tufo. Welcome in Amelia. Welcome in... Oh, that's a different one. Welcome in Frost. Welcome in Genon. Welcome in Tyler. Welcome in Orpheus. Welcome in Feral. Welcome in Shadow. Welcome in Iota. Welcome in Cadence. Welcome in Zebraf. Welcome in Zora. Welcome in Double A. Welcome in Burendi. Welcome in Orcus. Welcome in Mario. Welcome in Ewart. Welcome in Shadow Bendith. Welcome in Duntham. I said that already. Leafy. Welcome in. Saddle. Welcome in. Queso, welcome in. Eldrick, welcome in. And Lucario, welcome in. I think that's all of them so far. Welcome in, everybody. You only get a super special welcome if you redeem the check-in before I start. So, you missed the multi-eyed Eldrick model? Well, with a name like Eldrick God, I see how that can be the case. Yeah, I see how that can be the case. Etu, welcome in, and Dragon, welcome in. Everyone, hi, happy Thursday. Hope everyone's having a good morning. I did not get Taco Bell last night after stream, but I did get it this morning. So thank you for funding Taco Bell there, Tux, because, yeah, I got yummy Crunchwrap. We did get the Crunchwrap. We're locked in. It's a good day. Did Sclimbo shill his subs, or do I have to kill him now? Oh, I did it too. No, I did. I said my name was Sclimbo Gamersubs, and I would be killed if you didn't buy Gamersubs. I said it. I did. See, chat says I did too. They wouldn't lie to you. It's the Lord's Day, so to sin, I'm going to McDonald's. Since when was Thursday the Lord's Day? I thought that was like Sunday or something for Christianity. I don't know. Where can I buy Sclim subs? That's like Gamersubs. You should just buy that. I'm drinking water. Hold on. Let me tell you where we're at today, everyone, before we get started on what we're doing. Everybody, you thought you could escape. Everyone, welcome to beautiful Portland, Oregon. Everyone loves Portland, Oregon. Welcome to North America. Crunchwrap's bomb. You live with a spicy potato? Yeah, it's pretty good. Welcome to Oregon, everyone. Hey! Oh, dang it! Sclimbo, I know you're on the J team, but today was the day the Romans nailed him to the cross. Wait, who says I'm on the J team? Who says I'm on the J team? I've never spoken about being pro-J or anti-J. Are we saying it that way? Hold on, let me give points to the North America guessers. I don't know if I'm pro or anti-J. You're like 1 second late to guessing? Oh. No, I never got involved with J, right? I never got involved. I was never taught. In the Sclim Factory, they don't teach about J. The airline Karen Shirley was right. Very possible, right? I'm sure it all lies in Portland, Oregon. I'm sure it all lies. All answers lead to Portland, Oregon. But welcome in. Happy Thursday. This is our usual just chatting and fitness stream. That means fitness questions. Let's pin them. Marshmallow. Put that over there and pin that. If you have any fitness questions or any questions you want answered anonymously, you feel free and lock them in right there. We're yapping fitness today. We're yapping other stuff. We already got a couple questions in already, but feel free to put in more. For those of you who don't know, who might be here for the first time, I do run a gym in real life. I'm qualified to talk about fitness and nutrition, as long as it applies to a general population, not a specialist though. So if you have any metabolic disorders or injuries, talk to specialists. But if not, I can help you. So feel free to ask any questions. That's what we're here for today. Talking about it like it's roids. Yeah, you know, kind of. No, we call those Fruit Loops, I believe, in the industry. We call that Fruit Loops. Making sure to have your Fruit Loops. I've never had my Fruit Loops, just to say. Don't do more than, do not do 7 reps. You know what happens, right? You can do 6 reps. You can do 8. Never do 7. You know what happens. Bad stuff happens. Ask your doctor if the J is right for you. So yeah, I think today we're going to do some yapping as usual. We're going to answer some fitness questions, maybe some Voice of the Void later, but I will say today is going to be a shorter stream. Now, hold on. Before you kill me, understand that I've done 3 4-hour streams already this week. Okay, so I'm allowed to. I think we can only go about 3 hours because I have a very important duty to do after stream before Ascension RP later. A very important duty. Okay. Now, I understand this might be considered a heavy burden. Heavy is he who wears the crown. I have to sit my dumpy down and watch the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. I have to. I have no choice. You know, heavy is the head that wears the crown. So that has to be done today. You should stream 5 hours. Well, I did yesterday, actually. It was like 4 hours, 51 minutes last night. No, I'm not streaming RP later. I am playing an RP, but not streaming RP. Yeah, I have no choice. I have to watch the Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. You see, my friend group is doing a watch through, but the first movie, I was at CarrierCon, so I had to miss it. But we're doing the second one on Saturday, so I have to catch up, and my only free time to do so is directly after stream. So I have to end in like 3 hours, basically. We can do like a 3-hour stream today, and then I'm going to have to go and do that before the evening. So that's the plan. But we still got a good 3 hours enough. So let's have a good time. Let's have some fun. Let's answer some questions. Let's sclimp it up, that sort of thing. You missed the masquerade? Oh, yeah, no, Leafy. The masquerade, it took a while for things to start happening, but once they did, oh, it was a banger. What's up, Foxtrot? Welcome back in. How you doing today, friendo? Welcome to my normal stream time. That time you saw last night was the first time I ever streamed in the evening. This is normally when I stream. This is the prime Sclim Zone right here. And we're doing our fitness questions and stuff, which should be pinned in chat if you want to ask any. Can't wait to see the chaos. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen from this point on out. There definitely is like a lot more plot to come in Ascension RP. A lot of fun last night. Some players were really killing it in the RP. Oh, shout out to Desync and Sinosquare. That is, respectively, Facade and Marcus, who were doing some crazy RP last night. A lot of time changes last second for the masquerade and wedding. Seemed that way because I thought the wedding was going to happen right at the beginning of the masquerade, and it seemed like the masquerade, they were like setting stuff up for a little longer because everyone was kind of wondering what was going on for a while. The Yuri faction must fall for the Yowie to rise. Well, we don't have a Yowie faction unless maybe the Meat faction is the Yowie faction. It's called the Meat faction after all. Yuri and Yowie are like yin and yang. I think that here's the thing, right? I think they're natural allies. I think at the end of the day, whether you want to see anime girls kissing or anime boys kissing, I think you're allies. You're both trying to achieve the same goal, right? Of seeing anime kissing and changing the world. I think we're all natural allies. Fujos, I think they're natural allies as well, right? I think it's all part of the same sphere, right? We should be together in battle. You know, be the change you want to see. They should join forces. They should. I'm not starting the Yowie faction with Ren too. All right, not today. Doing good. Vex did tell us before we ready, dude. You're streaming later than usual. Yeah, 6 hours later. That was first time doing that. Like I said, I usually go live right around now and we just yap about stuff and play games and answer fitness questions and all that. Tomorrow, then? What about tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think we're going to be playing probably a lot of the simulator games that have come out. I know there was the Retro Console Restoration Simulator game, and then there's also the VHS Store Sim. So we're probably going to play both those tomorrow. Yeah, what's with all these bots all of a sudden? I haven't seen these for months, and now we're getting crazy bots coming in. So wait, what's happening? Is it spam? Like, I'm not even seeing these messages. Where are these bots coming from? Are they saying stuff? Because I'm not getting follows from them. What are they doing? Tulip think, men good, women bad. Dad make Tulip alone, women not needed. Yowie too. No? Okay, why did I read that before reading it? Nope. Not true. No deflowering. You said you're not starting the Yowie tonight, so tomorrow? Listen, I'm not going to promise anything, right? We don't know what tomorrow brings. All we can do is meet the day head on, right? And see what happens. Hey, honey, what's going on? I was going to say, I wish you could see the bot. I want to see, like, what they're doing. Like, I'm not even getting their spam messages. I'm just seeing the fact that they're banned. Pretty location? Yeah, Pinka. Hey, what's up? Welcome to Portland, Oregon. It does look pretty. Let's leave it at that. Portland, Oregon. It looks good. Okay, here's the lore about Portland. I think I've talked about this before. I've never been there. Gonna preface by saying I've never been there. Everyone I know who has lived in Portland, Oregon says that the people in Portland, Oregon are evil. Right? Like actually. Like that's how they describe it. They're like, no, those people are evil. They're evil people. Can we get a link to your TTRPG? Which one, little dog? The TTRPG Pokemon tabletop or last night's Ascension RP? Which one? It's just advertising, channel promotion, and fake sites. Oh, cool. Yeah. All right. The buying follower bots. Last night's, please, should be in the VODs on Twitch. So if you go to my channel and you look at like the last VOD before this one, the full VOD should be there. It's very long though, and there's a lot of like backstory and stuff, and there's like an hour or so where nothing really happened to the ball. But besides that, there was some really good RP. It was really good. Speaking of, want to buy my furry commissions? Not really, Duntum. I appreciate you, but not really. Why though? Yeah, it's true. I am evil. Yeah, I don't know. I've just heard everyone, like, when they talk about Portland, it's like Mordor. They're like, don't go there. That's an evil place. And I'm like, all right, why? I don't get it. Apparently that's a thing. So you cannot summon me with a microwave and a skull. No, thank you. No, thank you. But yeah, so I have burdens to do today. A heavy burden of sitting on my fat dumpy and watching Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. Oh, the humanity. Oh, the burden. My lobster is too juicy. Right? That's how I'm feeling today. How I'm feeling today. So you can swing it. Yeah. Wait, what are we swinging? Let's catch you up. Mount Doom is right there, but it's like, actually, what mountain is that? That's not Mount Shasta, is it? I don't know what mountain's there, but it's a good mountain. Looks real good. That's a good Skyrim mountain right there. I'd want to go there. That's not Mount Fuji. That's different. That's different. Rome, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it big time. It helps a lot. Thank you so much. Isn't the extended like 10 hours? Okay, maybe not. I thought that I was watching the extended because it's 4 hours, but maybe that's just the normal version. I summoned you with mysterious forest mushrooms from a fairy circle and a Pikachu Game Boy Color. That would work. That would work. Yeah, that would work. Mount Fujo? That's like the Tomboy mines. Do we have a Mount Fujo? Because I know the Tomboy mines are a real thing, and like Lake Poo Poo Pee Pee and stuff like that. Is there a Mount Fujo? I'm looking this up. Is that a real thing? There's probably a Mount Fujo, right? Mount Fujo. That's Mount Fuji. What about Mount Fujo? I feel like that should be a real thing. Maybe not. Maybe not. Lake Moron's a real place. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the Tomboy mines are a real place. They closed them down, though. They unironically, this is not a joke. The Tomboy mines got sold to the Rothschild family and got shut down. That's not a joke. That's real. That's a thing that happened if you go on the Wikipedia page and check Tomboy mine. That's real. They blew it up! They stole them! They stole them! They shut it down! You deny us our purpose. I think I'd be a really good tomboy. You know? I think I would be. I think I'd be an awesome tomboy. I think I'd be. But yeah, let's start answering some fitness questions, everybody. Let's see what else happened. Did I do anything interesting? No, I didn't go outside today. Well, I went outside, but I just got a crunch wrap and like a strawberry, what do they call it? Strawberry Dream Monster. But boy, I wish I had instead some GamerSupps Premium Energy. Use code VTuberMail for 10% off. Right? Wait, are they still out of stock? They were out of stock before. I hope they're not out of stock anymore. Did you see the recent sub? I didn't hear the thank you. Yes, I did, Duntum. I did thank Rome for that. Yes. Homeboy, Colorado. Is that a place? Is that a place? Slowly lowers the gun. Okay, anyway, we're here for fitness. Let's start answering fitness questions. We can do just chatting as well in between the questions, but we got like 4 stacked up and a couple from last week. I don't want to keep anyone waiting. Let's get started. Hey, what's up, Black Space? What's going on? Urge to Johnny Silverhand rising. So like, what do we mean by that? Do we mean by like wearing a cool fit and being in a band, or like blowing up buildings? Like which one? Which version? Right? Which mode? Because like here's the thing, right? Like what if I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like I wanna the urge to who's a guy, who's like a person, right? What if I was like, oh, I have the urge to LeBron James. And we're like, wait, what does that mean? But all it means is I have the urge to like, you know, take a little nap, because I'm sure LeBron James takes little naps. So who knows, right? Why assume? Why assume? Guy McPherson, man. The Uri Mountain exists. Ooh. All right, let's go to fitness. Gamer 8 is back in stock and new Steamboat Willie merch. Oh, cool. Oh, cool. All right, answer fitness question now. Many fitness question. We answer fitness question. All right, hold on. Let's go. Boom. Oh, there's a lot of them. Okay, let's get started. Yeah, wow. All right, we're rocking today. Let's go. I have the urge to frolic. I wish I frolicked today, but alas, I will frolic maybe tonight or tomorrow. Who knows? Let's see. In France, LeBron James is a slang to say... Why is it slang to say goon in French? Hey, Van, what's up? Fitness GamerSupps in your mouth? Yeah, fitness... sorry. Anyway, first question. Any advice about how to get in a workout routine despite having a really tight schedule? I work around 12 hours a day, more or less, leaving me only a few hours after work before I have to go to sleep for the next shift. I've also never really exercised before either, and I want to get into it, especially since I've been feeling aches and pains in my back, knees, and shoulders while only being in your mid-20s. That will happen when you're sedentary. Very normal to happen. Unfortunate, but we do start to have that happen in our 20s. We're bouncy in our teens, and we can kind of like bounce off the floor, but then we start to creak and crack, especially if you sit down. So I'm glad you're asking this. Proud of you for looking into it. Really hard, obviously, to fit in a fitness schedule when you're working 12 hours a day. It depends on how and where you work. Going to be my recommendation. So if you do work from home, but you work 12 hours a day, that's when you want to employ the strategy of trying to fit in sets in between your other work, right? So you're not going to have a dedicated 1 or 2 hours you're going to be exercising. You'd rather than split it up into minute segments close to failure set wise, right? So say, you're working from home, you have some gym equipment, right? Like a bench press or some dumbbells or something like that. You would like, maybe while you're doing a meeting, right? Say you're taking a meeting, work from home, you just pace around your house, right? Get some steps in that way, pace around while you're on your meeting. Another thing you can do is get a standing desk, right? That just keeps you standing. You ideally won't have as much ache in your back and knees and stuff like that. Another option, under desk treadmill, like we talked about, in combination with a standing desk. Another option is just trying to, like I said, fit in a set when you can. So if you have 5 minutes, do like a set of like push-ups to failure, right? Or a set of bench press to failure, and just one set close to failure, and then do the rest of your day, do some more work. Maybe 30 minutes later, hour later, you're taking another break, another 5 minutes of exercise. So you would want to split up your volume basically whenever you can throughout the day. Don't worry, it will still get you somewhere, and it is still good for you to do, right? But as long as you're going close to failure each time, you can totally split it up throughout the day. And that's my best recommendation when you have a really tight and packed schedule. Now, if you don't work from home and you're at a job, that gets a little more complicated. The best advice I can give there, if you're working so much, is try to make it so that the gym is on your way home and you do not go home until you go to the gym. Make it part of your workday, right? Because once you get home, you're going on the couch. 12 hours is a lot. But if you can at least get yourself to the gym for 30 or 45 minutes before going home, that's best recommendation. You can even save yourself maybe like a yummy treat for that, right? So especially if your problem is starting exercise, but not necessarily, you know, looking for weight loss or anything like that. One thing you can do is motivate yourself by making it so every time you go to the gym, it's like, oh, maybe I can have like 100 calories of chocolate or something like that. Like a little treat to help motivate yourself to do that work. Also, you don't need that much is another thing, right? So especially when you're starting out, you can totally get away with a full body plan that's only like 45 minutes, 3 days a week. So if you could find 45 minutes 3 days a week out of the 7 days in the week, that will also get you very far. But it really depends on your exact circumstances, and I could help a little more with those circumstances, but that's general idea for people who work from home or people who do not work from home. Those would be my two big ones. The two big ones. I work from home. I always thought stopping and doing a few reps was useless. No. Okay. So stopping and doing a few reps might be useless. It depends entirely on the intensity. As always, it depends on the intensity, right? So command, if you're doing powerlifting, right? Like say you have like a bench, best case scenario, right? You have a full bench setup like behind you, right? When you're working on your computer, you get up for a break, right? You do a little warm up really quick, and then you do like 2 really hard sets of bench press to failure, right? You might only be doing 4 or 5 reps if you're doing powerlifting style, but they're going to be close to failure, and then you go back to your work, right? It's like you could totally do that. That will work. Split that out throughout the day, because remember, weekly volume is what matters, right? Volume isn't even necessarily counted on a week as well. We just do that for like human construct reasons. So you can totally just hit it whenever you can, as long as the intensity is high. Getting up and just kind of doing nothing, like a few easy reps isn't going to do much, but that will. Benching weight where 10 reps is failure. That's what I mean. I figured that was useless. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Like I would definitely do things that are difficult when you do it, but it doesn't have to take a long time. You can do difficult sets very quickly with high weight, obviously, or something that's just like very difficult to execute, right? Tension wise. So good example, like when you're doing powerlifting style training, if you're doing for like a set of bench or 5 reps to failure, that's going to take like 7 seconds. You're going to be under the bar for like 7 or 8 seconds, which is not that much, right? Then you include the warm up and it's totally fine. Can you define close to failure? It sounds dangerous to this newbie. Yeah, so close to failure is a little different for new people. So just to clarify, once you get some skill in working out, to best grow your muscle and get the best out of training, you do want to go close to failure all the time. What that means is that, like, gun to your head, you can do maybe one more rep of the exercise, right? So one away from failure is generally what we're looking for. However, as a beginner, you do not have to go that close to failure, because the stimulus you're providing to your muscle just from exercising at all is going to be plenty for a newer person. So that's really a concern for someone who's more on the intermediate side or has been lifting for a little bit. If you're new, you can stay like 4 reps away from failure. And failure defined as I literally cannot lift this weight with good form anymore. Failure not defined as I can't lift the weight at all, even if I let my form break down. Whenever I'm talking about failure, I'm talking about form failure, meaning as long as you can stay strict and safe with your form, you can press it again. Now, there's always going to be an extra rep that you might be able to get if you like jack your shoulders up and you wiggle around a little bit, but that's not recommended. That's leading to injury right there. Do not do that. Only go to form failure. The only time where that is less of a problem is when you're locked into a machine in an isolation exercise, because it kind of takes form failure away from you. So then you can generally go to muscular failure. But either way, you don't want to do it too often, and it is very good for you. But beginners, you can stay a little bit further away. Unfortunately, the only way to find where your failure is to test it with someone, right? So have someone there to what's it called, guide you, and just be like, hey, I need to see where I get to. I need to see where I get to, right? You're gonna have to find out at some point what failure actually is. Hold on, let me go ahead and that. Close to failure is when your parents call you out by your full name. That's fair. That's fair. You usually consider failure as I don't think I'll succeed in the next press. Well, eventually you'll get a sense for it. Yes, eventually you'll get a sense for where your failure is, where you can just kind of know where you're gonna end up. But that's like a more advanced skill. I had no idea what a middle name was, so whenever it was used for me, I just thought parents were being silly. Hey, what's up, Absol? What's going on? Got a spotter? Yeah, get a spotter if you're going to test failure. Absolutely. But eventually you learn. Eventually you learn on your own. If I'm doing that bench till failure, how many times per day should I do that? I'd say if you're going like 1 rep away from failure, weekly volume for bench press would be probably somewhere between, 10 to 20 very hard sets close to failure, right? So split that out however much you want. I wouldn't do it back to back, day to day. So let's say if you're splitting up a workout Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I would say maybe 4 sets per day. Maybe 4 or 5, right? 4 or 5 at most. But if you're doing every set like at failure, 5 heavy bench, that's probably going to add up really fast, like fatigue wise. So, don't go crazy. I personally have always liked doing 3 or 4, but you could probably do a little more. We'll see. It depends on the person, depends on the skill level, that sort of thing. That sort of thing. My bench press is up bench, and then my arms give out and the bar catches my throat. Yeah, don't kill yourself. Do not guillotine yourself on the bench press. Not a good idea. All right, next question. How do you feel about Smith machines for 4 sets of 5 reps really quick? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the reps don't matter so much. All that matters is close to failure. Like, you could do 5 reps very quickly, right? And have that be a high weight close to failure. You could also do 15 reps if you just use a lower weight, right? But each one is going to be a set close to failure. That's what matters. But it doesn't matter really the range. What that will affect is if you're kind of building strength or building definition and size. But as far as like challenge goes, what matters is getting close to failure. And that is where you need to start thinking about, can I recover from this, fatigue, and all those things. Hero, thanks for the follow. Welcome in. All right, any advice? Oh no, that was that one. How do you feel about Smith machine for solo gym goers? I've been trying to do regular benches. I've accidentally wound up floating the bar above my chest while looking around for someone to save my ass. Enough times I'm getting uncomfortable with pushing myself. I know trailing to failure is good. Also don't want to risk collapsing my ribs. Hey, actually a really good question. And I would say first off, congratulations. This is honestly, I think more of a good thing than a bad thing. And hear me out on this. I like failure within the first 5, my favorite range. Mine too, Van. I came from powerlifting. So I think this is a good sign, okay? Because to me, what this is a sign of, this isn't like a good thing, but this is a sign of somebody who is on the side of the spectrum of going hard, which is good, right? Because when you're training people, you'll find there's like many types of people, but there are people who you have to beat them with a whip to get them anywhere close to failure. And then there's some people who you have to hold them back from going beyond, right? So they try really, really hard. They always go to failure, and you have to, as a trainer, kind of hold them back and be like, don't go crazy, right? Being in that second group generally, I think, is better, because once you learn how to limit yourself, you have a natural inclination to pushing really hard, you will get further. So that's like a good sign that you're willing to do that, and that kind of happens. Obviously not a good thing, but a good sign of like the type of lifter you are. Now, to answer your question, Smith machines are great. I think they're a good tool in the toolbox. Obviously, I don't think they're better inherently than a free weight bench or a barbell bench or something like that. But they are a good tool. I wouldn't rely on them. The form on them is a little bit different depending on the bar, because the bar pathing can be a little bit weird on Smith machines. So if it saves you and you don't have a spotter, absolutely, totally fine to do it, because then you can rack it and not have a problem at failure. I do think it's still good to just learn over time where your failure is. Like, eventually, now that you've floated the bar and aren't able to get it up a couple times, right, you're starting to learn what your limit is right now. And that's something you can just back off a little bit from, and you should be totally fine. And another recommendation here is, remember, if the reason this is happening is because, say you're doing a 200-pound bench and you're doing it for 6 reps, right? 200 for 6. And you find that you do 200 for 6, you rest, you do 200 for 6, and then you do 200 for 5, and that's why you almost collapse your ribs, right? You can't get that 6th one up on that final set. What that probably means is, 1, you could back off a little bit. 2, rest more. You're probably not resting enough between sets, right? If you can't repeat a hard set close to failure for all of your sets in a given exercise, rest more between them. That is the limiting factor, right? If you did it once, you should be able to do it multiple times, unless we're talking about a complete central nervous system 1 rep max freak push, right? But anytime you're making like a schedule or looking at your fitness plan or going into the gym, if you're capable of doing a set once, you are capable of doing it again. You just need more rest. So if you're only resting 2 minutes between your sets of heavy bench, rest 4. Right? Or rest 5, however many you can afford to get that last set in, if that's why this is happening. Because that's like the most, I feel like that's more common than somebody who just puts too high of a like weight on the bench, right? It's more common that it's a slow fatigue over time, and they get the first set, they get the second set, and then the third set's like a no, right? Now, if you're resting enough, you should be able to get all 3. So try resting a little more between your sets, if that's what's happening. But yeah, Smith is also totally fine to use. I'd better you use it than don't. Absolutely. I'm the opposite. I almost hurt myself constantly, so now I'm paralyzed with fear trying to find the zone. Yeah, I came from power. Yeah, all right, Duntum. All right, Duntum. All right, Duntum. Yeah, no, you find your zone. You find your zone over time, but I think it is good to be on that side. It's good to be on the side of like tries goes too hard, as long as someone's there to limit you or you can limit yourself, because it's way more frustrating, I think, to not ever push really hard and never get anywhere because of it, right? You know, on one side, your danger is getting injured, but you're growing a lot. On the other side, your danger is you're not getting injured or growing a lot, ever. And you really have to get whipped to do that. Let's see. Are you actually supposed to be resting for like 4 minutes? I thought those guys at the gym who sit on a machine and scroll TikTok for 10 minutes were just there to make themselves feel better. That is bad. If you're sitting on, I'm very much of the opinion in the gym etiquette, if you're sitting on benches, scrolling TikTok for like minutes at a time, I think that's bad etiquette. Obviously, I think people should go and ask them if they're done with their sets. Nobody should really need 10 minutes unless you're like an athlete level lifter and you're taking massive rests between like 1 rep max or 3 rep max sets, right? For like training for competition. Nobody needs a 10-minute rest at all, unless you have like, you know, like a heart condition maybe, or some sort of like physical disability. And then you might need a 10-minute rest. But either way, I think what you should do and what the proper thing to do is, and this is what I do, if I'm going to rest 4 minutes between a bench set, after that first set, I am getting up off the bench, I am standing behind it, and I'm putting myself open to the room, right? I'm not like headphones in, I'm not scrolling my phone, I'm kind of like making it obvious that someone can work in if they want to. Because I'm taking a 4-minute rest, I'm timing it, it's on my timer. And that way, nobody can really judge you on that, because it's like, hey, if you want to work in, feel free. I'm here. I'm open to it. I'm not like sitting there closed off, you know, scrolling my phone. So I think that's like the good way to do that etiquette wise, you know? Read some research papers that said 3 minutes is ideal between sets. I always do 3. Liz. So I don't know about particular research, and it's going to differ from person to person, right? Because 3 minutes might be fairly optimal for a vast majority of the population. Some people might need more. There are times where I needed 4 minutes, but 3 has been what I've done historically all the time. And that makes it fairly easy to do like a 45-minute to an hour workout too, because you can go in and do like 4 exercises, full body, the basics, right? 3 sets each, and you'll hit 45 minutes to an hour with 3-minute rests. So I feel uncomfortable taking a 2-minute rest between sets. It is very uncomfortable in a busy gym. You just have to make yourself available, right? Like make it so people can join in if they want. Someone might judge you. In fact, I actually had to have a conversation with my dad about this, where my dad and my stepmom would come back from the gym. I was at like all the holidays and they came back from the gym and they were like, wow, it's just really annoying. Like everybody just sits on the equipment and they just sit there and take it up and they don't do anything. And they just sit there and like for a couple minutes and they do it again. And I had to explain to them, I'm like, no, guys, that's like the best way to work out. That's like how you do it. That is optimal for growing muscle. They're doing the right thing. It's just that you guys grew up in an era where circuit training was everything, and circuit training is not optimal for muscle building, but that is. So I have to be like, no, that's like the right way to work out. You just have to ask them to work in. And if they're going to ignore you or be mad about it, that's on them. But they have to understand that that is actually like the way to build muscle properly, is to rest between. Because as we've talked about many times, if you're just running between sets of multiple things, right? So you're doing like, all right, circuit training, I'm going to bench press, and then I'm going to do a lat pull down, and then I'm going to do a leg press, and you're just going back to back to back, and you're like not resting at all between those sets. All you're doing is fatiguing your cardio, not your muscle, right? Your cardio is going to run out first. You're training cardio. Your muscle is not being pushed to failure. It can't get enough oxygen. So you have to remember, right? You lift again optimally for building muscle. Once your heart rate kind of returns to normal, you stop breathing so heavily, you're ready to go again, you feel ready, right? You've been doing 30 seconds between sets. Yeah, don't do that. 30 seconds is like fine. There are people that do it. But if you are really prioritizing muscle building, you want minutes. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's see here. Next question. Does working out while sitting down actually do anything? I have some health issues that make cardio heavier. Standing exercise is hard for me. I don't have an equipment yet, but looking into it. I feel like we've gotten this question like 3 or 4 times about the sitting down, unable to stand thing. I wonder if that's just a lot of people. Yes, it does do stuff. Absolutely. So like we've talked about before, if you're in a machine, then that's totally fine because you're just going to be working the muscles that are necessary for that machine, right? So if you're sitting down, you're doing a chest press, that's going to work your chest muscles. Don't need to stand. That's totally fine. If you don't have any equipment, that's going to be a little hard. You can see if something like doing push-ups is okay. I know like it depends very much on the reason why you have trouble standing, because then, you know, if it's certain things, bench press also might not be good. So you really have to figure that out. But yeah, you can totally do stuff while sitting down. Just recognize you're only going to be working the muscles that you're actually working, right? So you wouldn't expect to get gains in your lower body if you're sitting down and doing a chest exercise or a dumbbell exercise for your biceps or triceps. So just expect that you'll only grow the muscle that you're actually working on. So, and then when it comes to like legs, you can still train them while sitting down. If you're capable of doing things like a leg extension or a leg curl on a machine, you can totally still work out your quads and your hamstrings while sitting down. So that is very possible, but recognize it's only going to work the muscle that you're actually working. So full body would be hard. Full body would be hard. You can do cardio while you sit. You can, because cardio is just getting your heart rate up, right? So obviously you'll have less benefits than if you were doing like moving cardio because your lower body won't be as active, but you can totally do cardio while sitting down. What is rowing, right? Like a rowing machine. What is that? What is rowing? What is biking, right? You can totally do cardio while sitting down. What matters for cardio is getting your heart rate up. That's all that matters. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Zep? What's going on? Yeah, row machine's a great cardio choice. Absolutely. Hey, Five Eyes, welcome. All right, let's see. Next question. Any advice for people that need to take a break from working out due to injury or illness as to not lose gains? Take a break. Straight up. Best advice I can give on not losing gains. Number 1, don't worry so much. You won't lose gains for about 2.5 weeks. So you won't start losing muscle if you're not working out at all for about 2.5 weeks. Maybe even mitigated more if you're eating your protein still. So my best advice, injury or illness, go back to maintenance calories, eat your protein. That's my best recommendation. Because remember, we recover from injury by using energy as well. So it's important to have calories to recover from injury. You'll stay sick longer and you'll get sick more if you're at a cut for a long time, right? So like the last thing I want people to do is, if they're injured or especially if they're ill, to not eat anything. Right? The reason why you have to eat things and replenish things is because you're losing electrolytes, you're losing energy, you don't have much in your body. Having more in your body will help you heal faster from those things. So my recommendation is go back to maintenance calories for the period you're injured or sick. However, recognize that because you're not moving, your maintenance calories might be lower. Okay? That'd be my recommendation. If you find my troll question annoying, feel free to ignore it. No, it's all right, Dunt. I don't mind answering anything. Does cardio even burn fat? It burns calories, which eventually burns fat, so yes. Healing potions. No, Brickin. Cardio burns calories. Calorie deficit leads to fat loss. Exactly. You need 3,500 calorie deficit to lose 1 pound, roughly. So true, Boldick. So true. Gotta run. Thanks for coming by, Foxtrot. I'll see you around. Appreciate you. Thanks for the lurky. But yeah, so I would say, honestly, take the break. We have our whole life to be fit. You can always get right back on the horse. The worst thing that can happen is if you try to push through an injury and then you hurt yourself permanently, or you don't recover from an illness, or it just impacts you way more. So just take a break. You know, I think it's good not to be completely bedridden if you can avoid it, right? So what I do, like if I get a little sick, like say I have like a flu or something like that, if I can get myself outside and go for a walk, I will. Unless I'm feeling absolutely terrible. The fresh air can be good for you. The sun can be good for you. Vitamin D is going to be good for you. And moving a little bit can help you recover more than staying completely sedentary in a lot of cases. So just try and get out a little bit, but you don't need to lift heavy or anything like that. In fact, don't do that. Just take the break. Again, you have like 2.5 weeks before you'd even start to lose anything. Eat your protein, go to maintenance, and enjoy a little break maybe. I mean, I personally, silver lining, if I get sick, I'm like, well, I don't have to worry about lifting for, you know, the period when I'm sick. That's like a little silver lining, right? Get more free time. You're on like a diet of 1,000 calories. That might be too low, Leafy, depending on a lot of factors, but I don't know too much about your stuff, right? So hard to say. Yeah, 1,000 does sound pretty low. It depends. I mean, 1,000 can be reasonable if you're like an 80-pound person who is 4'10". Then maybe 1,000 would be reasonable. But for like a light cut, but I don't know why you'd be cutting at that point. So yeah, that's too low. With those stats, that's too low, Leafy. 100% too low. Going on an aggressive deficit does sound like a good idea, right? Very much sounds like a good idea because, oh, you'd lose weight faster. But the problem with that is your body likes to be at rest. And what I mean by that is the momentum is towards keeping your body the same way. So when you go really deep into a cut very fast, you are going to most likely rebound extremely after it works. That's why most people gain their weight back, is they go very, very, very low, too fast. You need a new nutritionist then. Did a nutritionist really put you on 1,000 calories? You know, this is something that's bothering me. I've been hearing about this a lot recently. I've had a couple people come to me who were like telling me their nutritionist suggested them a total 1,000 calorie diet. And I'm like, no. What? That's crazy to me. Like, they should know better, right? Like, they should know better. That's crazy. Like, hold on. Let me clarify. Is it 1,000 calories or an 1,000 calorie deficit? She was saying, because I don't move much, I need an 1,000 calorie diet. So here's the thing. If you're sedentary, I'm going to do stats right now. Hold on. Let's do this on screen. I'm going to show you something. Okay. I'm going to show you something. Here's the problem. The awkward problem here is technically a nutritionist absolutely outranks me, but I can tell you that everything I've ever known about fitness tells me that's not true. Hold on. Right. So technically I am absolutely outranked by a nutritionist with a 4-year degree, but that seemed crazy. That very crazy. All right, that's a hard cut already. All right, let me do some math here. I'm gonna pull up the calculator and just show you, okay? I'm just gonna assume, you can tell me if male or female. I'm gonna assume female in this case, right? We'll just assume an age too. You don't have to give me it. I'll just put like 28, right? Not gonna matter too much. What we know is 5'6", right? And we know 245. 245, right? And we know sedentary, okay? Sedentary lifestyle, right? So check this out. Check this out. To be honest, she flat out called me morbidly obese, and close enough. You could be like medically obese, right? That is like a real term used, medically morbidly obese. But if it was like said derogatorily, that's a little messed up. Anyway, let's look at these numbers. Okay, so as somebody who is 28, theoretically female, 5'6", 245 pounds, little to no exercise, using our equations, I believe this is the Mifflin-St. Yor equation standard, you probably have an energy expenditure of 2,230 calories, a basal metabolic rate of 1858. That checks out with everyone I've ever trained. And what that means is this is the number of calories that your body burns if you were sitting exactly still in a coma, right? Just to keep your organs running, this is how many calories you need per day. If you were to eat under this for a very long period of time, your hair would start to fall out. Things would start to not go well. Your nails would be bad. Your skin would be bad. Your body will start to, not in a very serious way, but lightly shut down. Lord of S'more, thanks for the follow. Right? Not a good thing. Don't eat under this number for a long period of time. There are obviously times like, you know, we can go without eating for like a month, right? But you shouldn't. So it's like, if you eat 1,000 calories a few days, that's super fine, right? Even in a row, that's super fine. It's not gonna be the most optimal for muscle building, but it's not gonna kill you. But if you're doing that for months on end, bad idea. I would say you probably want to eat like 1,800 calories, like right around this, right? Because you're gonna need to also check as to if that's your actual calorie burn or not, and see like with testing and stuff like that. Helps loudly. Helps loudly. Yeah, actually, yeah, is she a, that's a good question. Is she a, hold on, is she like a doctor or a dietitian? Like a primary care or a dietitian or nutritionist? Helps loudly. You're probably not going to gain, is the thing. There's math here. There's math here. Dietitian, that's really strange to me. It's tough because like, I don't want to count, like maybe you it's tough because I don't want to contradict a dietitian with a degree, but everything I've ever known and been taught says that's very wrong. Yeah, get a second opinion. Get a second opinion would be my recommendation. That seems very wrong. There's no good world where you should only be eating 1,000 calories. Because here's the thing, you'll lose. It's also not a good idea. I mean, if you ever look at a study about weight loss, the reason why 90 to 95% of people regain the weight after they lose it is because they go into a deficit that's so severe, so fast, their body doesn't have time to adjust. And then once they're done, they still have the same hunger levels before and they eat it right back, right? Sometimes even worse, sometimes even more. And the best way to avoid that is to do a slow deficit. We know in the world of weightlifting, the best way to have a deficit and to hold on to your muscle and stuff like that is to have a very, very slow deficit, right? Lose weight slowly, let your body acclimate to it. And the other part of that, and this is really where I'm going to be a stickler and be like, what is this dietitian thinking? Is 1,000 calories is just straight up, in many cases, not enough to get the nutrients that your body needs. And this is a problem generally with a lot of like women who are tinier. This is a problem for them. When you go too low on calories, you don't have enough calories to spread out among the macronutrients that you need to keep your body perfectly functional, right? You're going to be missing micronutrients. You're going to be missing protein. You're going to be under eating something because it takes calories to eat those things. So like, I almost never program anyone under 1,500 calories because you need them, right? So if you were, here's the thing, right? If you were to eat 1,000 calories, let's do some math. How are you getting your fat in the day? If you don't have enough fat in your day, your hormones get messed up, right? That affects vitamin shuttling. So if you don't get enough fat per day, that's a problem, right? If you don't get enough protein per day, that's a problem. Your muscles will waste away. And having these low calorie numbers just don't give you enough to do that. So it just seems wild to me. There's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Crosses arms. I don't like it one bit. Yeah, it's just not a good idea, I don't think. I mean, the only way I could see it, the only way I could see that being reasonable, I'm crossing my arms right now. The only reason I could see that being reasonable is if you had like a metabolic disorder that really affected the out part of your metabolism, right? Like your metabolism was stunted and you were only burning 1,000 calories per day. But the answer to that would probably be medical before saying just eat 1,000 calories, bro. Right? The answer to that would be get on medication that stops that from happening. Yeah, no, that seems ridiculous. Yeah, it seems very ridiculous. Very ridiculous. I don't like it. I don't like it because I'm doing some math here in the background. I'm looking at some math, right? Like I know how many grams of fat people are supposed to have per day and how many like grams of protein people are supposed to have today to spare their muscles and stuff. And I'm it's not mathing. It's not mathing that well. Barely mathing. Not much room for error. I'll say that much. No medical issue. She was just like, well, you probably eat a lot of bad stuff. Yeah, I mean, but the answer is not eating 1,000 calories a day. The answer is like what I would recommend. Okay, so if you were my client, Leafy, because you said you had no medical issues, right? So I'm allowed to speak. I'm allowed to speak. If you were coming to me and you wanted a diet plan and you were my client, I would say, don't eat 1,000 calories. That's crazy. I would say, let's eat 1,800 and let's also work out. Right? I would say, let's start moving more. Let's start going for walks. Let's start maybe consider going to the gym in a little bit, but we can start with walks daily and stuff like that, right? Let's get that metabolic rate up, because when you build muscle, it's higher, it's metabolically active, right? So your whole energy expenditure, your metabolism goes up when you build muscle because you're moving more around, right? It takes energy to keep the muscles there. Let's go to 1,800 and let's work out, would be what I would say if you were my client. Okay, and you'd be getting your protein, be eating a lot of high volume foods, getting fiber, all that stuff. Certainly not 1,000. Let's eat 1,800 calories together in our 30s, right? Let's do that. I mean, I don't, but yeah. Oh, that's complicated. I did hear there's ultra low calorie diets that are under 1,000 per day. Those are only done under medical supervision, only for a couple weeks. Yep, true, Aoto. And sometimes they're just for tests too. But yeah, 2 good meals. Yeah, I mean, again, I would say get a second opinion. I would go find a different dietitian, honestly, and have them be like, is this crazy? Because I've had this happen to other people who've talked to me, and they said the same thing. They're like, yeah, my dietitian gave me a 1,000 calorie diet. And I'm like, that's messed up. Did they forget about the part where that doesn't give you the nutrients you need to live properly? And that's a really bad idea. And all studies we have show that if you're in a very severe deficit for a long period of time, it makes it very easy to gain weight afterwards versus a light deficit that's very sustainable. Teehee. That's a lifestyle change rather than a radical sprint to a finish line and then have no goal afterwards. And then you backslide and then you gain everything back. All those studies? Are we forgetting those? All right. No, that's crazy. I'm putting it down, putting my foot down. That's crazy. Yeah, even you're like 12K, but your size is Y, so less than 1K is just, yeah, and even I'd say 12K is probably too low consistently. I think what's more likely in many cases is people just not counting calories properly and being a little off on like how many calories something actually is. But yeah, shame does beget trauma. It sure does. Yeah, you don't want someone shaming you the whole way too. I mean, the thing is, it's tough because like there are some people who actually respond to negative reinforcement. I don't think that's great, but there are people who do, who have told me they want me to, they're like, I respond better to negative reinforcement. So I'm like, all right, but I don't like doing it. It should be positive reinforcement. No, it should be. But your little treat might be bigger than you think. Very true, Cyclone. That's the thing, is like the 1,200 calories or 1,000 calories or any amount of calories could be very incorrectly counted because calories are so like, until you start looking, there's way more in everything than you think there is. There's way more in everything than you think there is. Like, I'll put it this way. Every meal out is over 1,000 calories for the most part, unless you're specifically picking off the low calorie menu. Every time you go out to eat, just assume you're way over 1,000 calories. A normal entree at Chili's is like 1,500 calories, right? So that's definitely a thing. Sure, this burger's a 2,000 calorie meal, but it feels like a 1,200. Yeah, I've been there. I mean, my 2,300 calorie donuts in a day, they're about to go bad. Yeah, entree. Yeah, any entree at Chili's is like 1,500 calories. You know what? Let's go look. I'll show you. I'll show you. Why talk about it when I could just show you? Let's pull up a Chili's menu real quick. Chili's as an example, because I love Chili's. I really like Chili's. All right, where should we go here? Let me just find menu and we'll go to, is there a general menu? All right, yeah, you know what? This will work. Let's take a look here. Here's our featured items. All right, let's take a look. Welcome to Chili's. The original trio, 1,200, triple dipper, 14 to 3,040. Depending on what you choose in the triple dipper. Crispy chicken combo, 870 to 1,600, depending on what you choose. Full rack of ribs, 2,830. 890. That's just the burger, though, not the fries, by the way. Just to clarify. Chicken bacon ranch quesadilla, 1,670. Here's our appetizers. Take a look. Look at these. Yeah, it's not even like the servings that are out of control. They just use so much oil. You know? Hey, what's up, Chrono Trigger? What's going on? Your big killer's the drinks. You love gamer subs to deal with the sugar drink cravings. Yeah, drinks too. You know, alcohol has calories, right? Like any alcoholic drink has a lot of calories in it. So, but yeah, look at all this stuff, right? And these are just the apps. You got some Southwestern queso to start things off, 1360, right? You got Texas cheese fries, $17.80. Fajitas, gonna be a little bit better because it's mostly meat, right? Let's take a look at the burgers. By the way, again, these are generally the calories for just the burger, not the fries. The fries are usually an extra 400 on the side. So calc that in, right? Burgers, low end $8.50, right? Chicken crisper combo, low end $8.70, high end $17.10. BBQ classics, let's not even get started. Steaks are good. Steaks because just meat and vegetable, right? How do you feel about eating the bones in chicken? I've never done that before. How do you even do that? Yeah, there are like 1.5k calorie salads too. It's a rabbit hole. Chicken and seafood, Cajun pasta, $12.30. Oh, that's the ultimate, right? But yeah, you get the point. Now here's the stuff on the menu that's actually reasonable, right? Like $6.40, $5.90. But yeah, you get the point. You get the point. That's every fast food place. They're all crazy like that. Choose 2 cheese sticks is like 1,000 calories. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Paul the Mobster? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, so it's rough. So just be aware of that, right? Like there's more calories in almost anything than you think. And that's why home cooking is really good. Also cheaper. But can you check Heart Attack Grill? I dare not check the Heart Attack Grill saddle. What does even that many calories do to your body? I mean, it depends, right? Like the thing is, right? I am, so if I take me, for example, and this works for anybody, but my maintenance calories when I'm exercising are about 3,000, just because of my size and activity level and stuff like that. So, you know, I could eat a Domino's pizza, an entire pizza in a day. We'll say like 2,500 calories and I'd lose weight. If that's all I ate, wouldn't be healthy for me, but I wouldn't gain weight from eating this entire pizza. So it all depends on where you decide to put your calories. And obviously you want to put it into things that are good for you and get you your macronutrients and are nutrient dense. But all to say, like, end of the day, pure weight number wise, you could theoretically, even if you had a diet of 1,200 calories, theoretically you could have a 1,200 calorie burger and be at maintenance. So, but just to say that a lot of people tend to underestimate how much they eat. And that's not me saying that, that's studies saying that. When they've ranked that and had people guess how many calories they're eating and then actually tested their calorie like intake and stuff like that, everyone overestimates how much they exercise and underestimates how much they eat, who are trying to lose weight. This is specifically people who are trying to lose weight by about 50 to 70%. So don't trust... I don't even trust myself. After like 13 years of doing this, I use scales because I know I can't trust myself. If I'm scooping 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, it's probably 4, right? So it's good to count when you want to be absolutely sure, because we are our own worst enemy with that. We will trick ourselves into thinking things are less than they are, or more than they are, depending on what side of the equation you're on, you know? What if you ate a Hawaiian pizza, which has all the 5 food groups? Good question, Ayoda. Good question. Yeah, use a kitchen scale. I have a question with how many recipes I've seen for protein using lots of cottage cheese. Yeah, cottage cheese rocks, Chrono. It gets really low in calories. It's mostly protein. So people use it in a lot of things and as like substitutes for things, right? Just like Greek yogurt, it can be a substitute for dressings when you like mix it with other stuff. And it's also very high in protein and low in calories. You'll be back. Got a doctor's appointment. So much good knowledge. Yeah, no problem, Saddle. Thanks for coming by. Lurk, no problem. Appreciate you. Anyway, next question, because we did a lot of screaming about that one. So, about that very not cursed question about uterine muscle contraction strength. Oh, right. In Discord, we were talking about how much a uterus could bench. How much can it lift in a controlled environment? I'm not a rocket scientist. Okay? I don't... This is boldly going beyond where humans have gone before. I don't know if I have the skills to measure how much a uterus can bench press. I don't have that information. I'm so sorry. I feel like a letdown. I feel like I'm letting you down. But that's the truth. That's the truth. Pommy, thanks for the sub. What's going on? How you doing, Pommy? Thanks for coming by. Hello? Oh, I was asked, okay? I was asked. I don't have the strength. You can try to look it up. I did a cursory glance and I couldn't find any information on them. I did look and I couldn't find anything. But hey, there's a second part. Let's see. Could it crush a Pepsi can inside of it? I mean, somebody can, right? I'm sure there's someone out there who can do that. Like if we're talking like a parlor trick, right? Like I bet back in the day when they had the festivals, right? Back in when they had like the strongmen at the not the farm, not the zoo. What's the word for it? The carnival. I bet there was a carnival attraction that was like, watch the amazing lady who can crush a Pepsi can between her thighs, but it's actually her cooch, right? Like I'm sure that happened at least once. Hey, what's up, Tortle? What's going on? I'm sure that happened is all. I don't know of it happening, but I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did at least once. Okay? At least once. Thanks for the hydrate, old man. Let me hit that. Bulldeck, thank you for the sub. And Hype Train. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Let me drink. You should do the old-timey voice more? Damn. Damn, that's what you want? That's my carnival announcer voice. Do you like it? That's also the 1920s newsstand voice. Ah! Hey, Pinky, what's up? Hands get sharp with... Yeah, it's not a good idea. I'm just saying I bet somebody's done it before. I'm looking it up. Hold on, I'm looking it up. Not putting it on stream, but I'm looking it up. Has anyone crushed a... I bet this is a yes. I'm 100% this is a yes. Like money down on the table. And with their... and then naughty word. Oh! Huh. Huh. Yeah, I found other stuff. Let's move on. I saw other things. I read about other things when I... Is my Discord public? Yeah, it's linked in the About section, and it's right there, too. Thank you. Yeah, wow, I saw there was other discussion when I looked that up. I looked up that question, but I got other questions that they were discussing. And a very interesting name of a subreddit. Okay, let's move on. So I found a carbonated protein drink randomly in a CVS pharmacy last week. I'm curious what you think of it. Has 25 grams of protein in one can, and I think the name of the brand is Bucked Up. I can post pictures in the Discord. Let's take a look. Bucked Up. That feels like naughty to search on stream. That sounds like the title of like one of those novels you find in CVS. All right, hold on. Let me find this. Bucked Up. It's not boofing. No, we're not boofing. Bucked Up Energy is a high stimulant, zero sugar energy drink featuring 300 milligrams of caffeine and also protein, question mark. Hold on. Protein? Bucked Up protein. Ah, here we go. Here it is. Subreddit has nothing to do with sounds. Ah, yeah, that caffeine content's bucked up. Here's protein peach mango. Did you try it? Because I actually, yeah. Ooh, macros are pretty good on that. 100 calories for 25 grams of protein. What's in this? I'm sure it's just... Okay, yeah. All right, so here's the problem. Here's the problem. If you like it, great. Awesome. If it tastes good to you, that's great. I will warn everyone else. I will warn everyone else. I'm just going to put an idea in your mind, okay? So, the reason why protein drinks work for the most part, protein shakes, is because they use milk, right? Whey and casein are like dairy protein. They're in milk and stuff like that, and cheese and dairy. So it's just milk with more filtered milk, basically, right? How would you feel about having milk in water? Because that's the feeling I get when I try to explain to you that putting whey and casein in water... I mean, it's like putting a protein drink in water. It's just using like protein powder and water, basically, right? And it gets a little thick. It's a little thick. More of a smoothie texture. I've had some very bad... Oh, it tasted really good? Then go for it. Then absolutely go for it. Matron, welcome in. Absolutely go for it if it tastes good. I just know that I have tried the blue water. I have tried the scary, thick blue water that's protein, and it was the foulest thing I've ever had. I actually had a friend... I had a friend who brought some to the gym one time, and they were like, yeah, I found this like really cheap like protein water. And I'm like, that's weird. Protein water? It's just protein. It's just whey and water. Sure. And then we drank it, and I was like, that's disgusting. And then he got sick for a week. So I don't personally mess with the water with the protein in it. I'd want something milk-based, right? Like a chocolate milk protein shake or peanut butter protein shake, that sort of thing. If you like the taste, absolutely, that works, right? If it's just whey and water, that makes sense. I would say it's probably a little more expensive than just buying your own whey and putting it in water. But if you like the pops, the carbonation, all that good stuff, I get it. I totally get it. So yeah, if it tastes good for you, go for it. I think that's interesting. I think the macros are good on it, it looks like. Didn't look at price really, but macros looked good. I just know that for me, I'm not touching that because it scares me. You got the orange cream flavor, just tasted like orange soda. Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, we're still talking about the subreddit, huh? We're still talking about uterus bench pressing. I get it. I get it. You got iheartguts.com. Which body parts can I sell for money? I asked the same question. Thanks for the hype train, by the way, everyone. You want to try putting a protein shake in a soda stream? That would be interesting. You're saying to find your own way. Yeah, you can go your own way. Go your own way. Yeah, you can. Next question. Sclim, if you were going to pick 3 exercises for leg day, what would they be? Bonus question. Do you ever eat fake meat products? If so, what's your favorite brand? Okay, good question. If I was doing them in one session, I'd probably pick 1 or 2 main movements and an accessory. If we're talking legs, right? So one thing I like doing, let's see, if I was going to pick 3, personally, and I'm not, oh, hey, we're thirsting it. What's up? I'm not saying this is the optimal choice, but I like the idea of doing, like, if it were me, I would do squat, right? Squat first. I would probably then do, like, either another squat or a hamstring, right? If I was just doing one leg day, let's say that, like, I'm doing full body and it's just like the leg part and I don't have multiple, like, different leg days and I only can pick 3 exercises, right? I would say probably squat, deadlift, and then like sled push, right? Or like squat, deadlift, and maybe RDLs on top or something like that for like extra hamstring, or squat, deadlift, hip thrust. I mean, I'm going to count that for lower body, right? But if you're spreading it out, you'd want to do 1 or 2 main movements, then accessory movements afterwards. So I would do something like, okay, maybe there's a leg day on Tuesday, right? I'd probably, you know, warm up, still lead in with the compound exercise, whether it be squat or deadlift. And then I would do extra exercises for that muscle group afterwards. So we would do like maybe a leg extension or a leg curl, depending on the squat or the deadlift. And then maybe something else. I do like putting sled pushes at the end because I'm going to get really, really tired after them, but I think they're just good for the entire lower body. So I use them quite a bit. But yeah, squat, deadlift, bread and butter, and then obviously hip thrust if you can find spots for it for sure. Those are your like big 3, I would say. You can get real far with just those. But bearing that, I would do, yeah, things like RDLs are great. Things like leg extensions are great. Leg press is good if you're going really, really deep on it and using it kind of like an accessory and you're getting like kind of knees to chest action going on. But if we're talking like quarter rep ranges on the leg press, I don't think it's that great. And a lot of people do end up doing that. Yeah, that would be what I'd do probably. But it depends. Like I mostly, thanks for Stretch Leafy, I mostly do full body exercise. So I'll only pick like a couple leg exercises per session. And I'll usually only do 1 per muscle group just for like 3 or 4 sets to failure. I really just don't like those lifters that drop the weights at the gym. Hey, me neither. Honestly, you don't have to. Right? There are some gyms where that's appropriate. I think in a powerlifting gym, that's appropriate. That's what's expected. But for the most part, you do not need to drop weights like crazy at the gym, right? I think something I find interesting is if I see somebody in the gym, like a very advanced lifter is at a Planet Fitness, right? Lunk alarm, yeah. But if a very advanced lifter is at a Planet Fitness, right? If they're gonna deadlift, if they're deadlifting 500 pounds and then they're putting it down gently, right? I don't think anyone else has the excuse to be able to slam the weights, right? It's like, no. If I can handle X weight gently, so can you. So can you. That's a choice, right? Lower it down. Don't throw it, right? Grunting to some extent makes sense, right? You're putting in a lot of effort. Grunting makes sense. I think like sometimes like like makes sense, right? Because you're trying really hard, but you don't need to drop things. You really don't. That's like ego stuff. That's just trying to be aura farming. You know, if the big boys don't gotta drop it, you don't have to drop it either, you know? They're just trying to drill a new metro station, yeah. They're only doing like half the lift. It's good on the way down too, you know? It's like, you gotta pull them aside and tell them like, you know, guys, it's like good for you on the way down too, a deadlift. You can, it's not just the way up that's good. You can, like lowering it controlled as well and getting extension on your like hamstrings and stuff. Like that part's good for you too, dude. Let's see. Oh, what? Oh, and what am I supposed to eat more of while the Red Army is occupying downstairs? What do you... Oh. Oh. Oh, that took me a bit. That took me a bit. That took me a bit to realize what you're trying to say. I was like, what is the Soviet Union doing back here? That's weird. But yeah, no, so let's see. You'd probably want to like focus on things that are going to like probably boost iron more than anything. So like... probably spinach, kale, vegetables, maybe like nuts, dark chocolate, all the usual stuff like that would probably be pretty good for that. I imagine there's stuff in blood, so drink your water, stay hydrated, all the usual. All the usual. Yeah, good analogy. I thought the Soviet Union was back for a second. I was like, what are they doing here? But yeah, gonna go leafy greens here. You basically just want iron more than anything, right? Because it's in the blood. But tuna salad, all right, all right. Yep, fatty fish can work too, absolutely. So that would be the recommendation. But you also, hold on, I can also use my powers. I'll make it easier. Hold on, I'm using my powers to take away everyone's cramps. You found spirulina is actually crazy good. Okay, yeah, so spirulina is actually like one of the best forms of protein for pure calories to protein. It's like one of the most efficient. But at some point you look at yourself in the mirror and realize you're eating like algae and you're like, what am I doing? Right? At some point you hit that curve of efficiency versus being an absolute monster. And you're like, what have I done? Like, I could just be normal instead. But yeah, if you like spirulina, you can eat spirulina. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like green algae stuff. Hold on. Let me look up actually what it is. Yeah, it's a blue-green algae. Yeah, it's algae. So if you wanna do that, feel free. But it's optimal. But you are hitting that curve of like inhumanity at that point. That's like rejecting your humanity, I would say. Blue spirulina was available at your workplace. Maybe it's like a seasoning or supplement on top of something or mixed into something. You know? Yeah, never thought to eat algae. I think most people don't. Most people don't think about that. Blue spirulina is pretty expensive. Oh, 300 per pound? Oh, that's not good. That's a lot of money. That's a big number. We want small number. Get brickin' instead. Eat brickin'. Next question. So I'm a bit on the bigger side. 245.56 gives me a lot of anxiety. How does one get over the anxiety of going to the gym? I've gone a few times. The closest gym to me is the gym all the doctors and rich people go to. And they stare and snicker. Makes me just want to give up and cry, but I can't afford to work out equipment. Totally understandable. It's tough because like what I would usually say here is most people in the gym don't actually judge. Usually what I tell people as someone who's run a gym, as someone who's been in many, many gyms, most people are focused on their own thing. And most people are actually not judging you at the gym and are frankly like some of the biggest people and strongest people in the gym really glad to see you there because they know you're putting in the effort. But since you did say straight up that they're staring and snickering at you, like if that's a real thing, then go to a different gym if you can.
Your bit's huge.
Thanks for the bits, Foxtrot. If that's a real thing, go to a different gym. That's messed up. That's messed up. They shouldn't be doing that. In fact, I'll run into that gym and see how much they snicker and stare when I hit them in the face with, oh wait. See how much they like 45 pounds getting thrown at their head. Yeah, I judge those guys who jump around and pull the cables and goofster ways. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's like acrobatics. Worked managing a smoothie place. Ordering always killed seeing prices. People treated us like dietitians. So yippee, yeah. But yeah, this is tough. I mean, if you do really think that people are like staring and snickering, because that could be in your head. I don't want to suggest that. But if that's really happening, I'm going to take it at face value and assume it is. You probably want to find a different gym. That's a bad gym. That's a bad place to be, bad vibe. You look for a Planet Fitness if you can. Because Planet Fitness is, if you're in the US, are very cheap. And I think they're like $10 a month for the base fee. And if you know what you're doing there, absolutely, you can take good advantage of a Planet Fitness. They've said stuff to you. Wait, it was Planet Fitness? What are hold on, wait. What are rich people and doctors doing at Planet Fitness? I mean, you can go anywhere, obviously. Like, people are allowed to go anywhere. But what are they doing at Planet Fitness? That seems like if they wanted to spend money, they would go somewhere else. That is not the rich gym. That is not known for that. They'd go to like a, what's it called? Oh God, what's the big fancy one? Tip my tongue. It doesn't tip my tongue. But it's the fancy one. Oh, it's a fancy Planet Fitness. I got you. Yeah, that's really rough then. Maybe try to see if there's another Planet Fitness around. But at the end of the day, I would say, like, what I usually tell people is people are generally not looking at you negatively when you're in a gym. And people, for the most part, the people who are regulars at the gym are happy in a way, or they recognize that, like, oh yeah, someone's coming in and putting in work. That's like a good thing, right? Now, if you're sure they're making fun of you and stuff like that, I would say you can do exercises at home without spending money, without going to a gym until you feel a little more comfortable. That's totally fine, even if you can't afford workout equipment, because you can use your body as workout equipment. What I always tell people who are just getting started is it's good to go to a gym, right? It can keep you accountable. You have equipment, you have access to stuff. Good to buy equipment too. But if you can't do any of that, right, you can still get jacked with just your own body. Walking, right? Squats you can do with your body. You can do various forms of push-ups, starting with your knees first, or even against a wall. You can do that. If you get like heavy books or something like that, you can do dumbbell exercises, overhead press. Man, thank you for the bits. Thank you so much, Command. Never had much time to look at other people at the gym because I wanted to get my sets done so I can go home and watch Gundam. Very fair. Yeah, you can pick up stuff in your house. If you have like a heavy book, you can do overhead press with it. You can do flies with it. You can even do bench press with it, depending on the weight. You can, you know, get a goblet or have a goblet. You can pick it up like a deadlift, like a squat. So you can do everything with just your body, especially as a beginner. So you don't need to necessarily go to a gym, and you could also find exercise that you enjoy, right? So maybe you don't even want to lift weights, but you want to swim, or you want to, you know, go for a jog, or you want to walk in the woods or go hiking. That's all valid. You don't have to lift weights. Whatever gets you to your goal, whatever you enjoy and whatever you're going to stick to. So don't worry if you do feel this way. I totally understand. I felt like that when I first started off. I felt a little embarrassed to go to the gym because I was also, or I saw myself, I should say, on the bigger side. So yeah, I totally get it. And you can absolutely make progress without going to the gym. Remember more than anything that when it comes to losing weight in particular, and when it comes to gaining muscle, the diet is 90% of it. Going to the gym will help you achieve your ideal end goal muscularly, but the weight loss, the fat loss, that comes from a calorie deficit, and 90% of that comes from your food. So nutrition first, gym second in this case, I would say. And then just practice walking around a bunch first. You know, get some steps in, right? Get some steppies, go for little walkies. But definitely nutrition side is going to be focused first, I would say. And then you don't even need to go to a gym. Don't even need to sometimes, you know? You know. But yeah, I do feel you, Command. Like, I definitely never judged. In fact, I judge opposite when I'm in the gym. Like, I always see the people who come into the gym a lot who are more overweight, and they're in there consistently. And I'm like mentally like giving them high fives. Sometimes more than mentally. Sometimes I'll like give a comment or something like that, like a positive comment when I'm passing by, if they're like there all the time. Like I remember a situation at my last gym that I was going to where there was a dude in there who over the entire summer was out on the treadmill every single day. And, you know, if I had to estimate, I would say he probably started at about 330 pounds, 350 pounds. And he was on the treadmill every single day for like the whole summer. And after like a couple months of that, I was just like, you're killing it out here, man. Like, keep it up. You are absolutely killing it. So that's how I think most people in the gym are. Anyone worth their salt in the gym thinks that way, I think. You know? Yeah, no. Your boy fucks with calisthenics. I do. They're cool. Calisthenics are really cool. I kind of want to get into that as I get older, honestly. I'm kind of like moving away from powerlifting and starting to be like, I just want to be nimble and healthy and fit. I don't need to be the strongest anymore, you know? Let's see. All right, next up. Hey, Sclimbo, how long of a rest should I take between sets, assuming I'm not doing HIIT? Is the answer different for different exercises? So, yes, actually. So I say, general rule, if you have infinite time, assuming infinite time, you do your next set when your breath returns to normal, right? Your heart rate and breath returns to normal, and you feel ready to do it, right? Like your central nervous system feels ready to go again, right? You're motivated to do it again, right? So best case scenario, however long that takes. Realistically, because we have lives and jobs and stuff, start 3 minutes between really heavy sets of things with big muscles. I do think you can rest less on muscles that are smaller and can recover fast, right? So you might not necessarily need a 3-minute rest on a bicep isolation exercise. You probably do need one on a bench press, a squat, or a deadlift, maybe even more on a deadlift, right? Just because of how taxing that can be at very, very high intensity. So yeah, it does differ a little bit because some muscles are bigger than others, right? Some muscles will recover faster. In fact, you can even hit some muscles more in a week than you can other muscles, right? So a really advanced powerlifters, for example, sometimes they will only hit a deadlift like once or twice a week. And they're doing some crazy work on those deadlifts, but they only will recover for like once or twice a week deadlifting. Whereas you could theoretically maybe hit your side delts or like your like calves like every day or like every other day, like 4 times a week, and they'd recover in time. So definitely depends on muscle size. Definitely depends on muscle size. But rest as much as you feel like you need to, right? There's never a rest that's too long theoretically. It's really just a time management thing that's reasonable at that point, you know? My goal for fitness has always been to try and reach the nirvana of no self-hatred. Still on the path. I command, keep working, keep working. I'm really proud of everything you've done so far, because I know we've been talking for a bit, and you've been doing a lot of awesome work and stuff like that. And I wish that you know, it wasn't like a situation where you had self-hatred at all, you know, because you've done amazing work you should be really proud of. And I feel like you can't hate yourself. You've done amazing stuff, you know? You should love yourself because you've done some really awesome stuff. Like, it's so hard to get started at all, and to lose weight and then keep it off and stuff like that. That's like a fight that 90% of people don't ever do. And it's a real challenge. So you should be proud of yourself. Be really proud of yourself. And I hope you can reach it, Command. Hoping to see some loss in the scale soon. I've been stuck even on that 1,000. So my thing though, Leafy, is I feel like if you're stuck even on 1,000 calories, it probably isn't actually 1,000 calories. And it's like hard to say, but the thing is, like, people can't defeat the laws of thermodynamics, right? So it's more likely there's something that's not being counted that is counting up to more than 1,000 calories, or like maybe the scale is not weighing properly, or oils aren't being counted, or drinks aren't being counted, or something, because it'd be almost thermodynamically impossible to not lose weight on consistent 1,000 calories. Given the stats that we know, something must be off. It could even be something like the foods you're eating are incorrectly counted, right? Like, I'm not trying to put blame on you or anything, because this happens many, many times. A good example is in the US, right? Food we've talked about before are allowed to have a like 20 to 30% tolerance on the nutrition label. So if you eat something consistently, it could actually, like, if you're eating a frozen food consistently, there's a world where it's actually 30% more calories than it says. And if that's all you eat, you're eating 30% more than you think. So there are things like that that happen even when you're being good. So not to put any blame on or anything at all. I just think I don't see how that could be possible if it's a consistent 1,000 calories with the stats you've given. It seems like that can't happen almost thermodynamically, unless you had a metabolic disorder, but it sounds like you do not. So my muscles are, let's see, and then we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. My muscles are flimsy. Will they pop pack into shape in the microwave? Yes, extra specs. They were. X-ray. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. The only exercise you get is walking to the fridge. Hell yeah, centimeter. I mean, that's me on some days, to be fair. To be fair. Let's see. Probably drinks and oil. Didn't know those counted. Yeah, okay. There it is. Now we know the answer. Leafy, absolutely those count. Hey, what's up, Fixara? I don't mean this in a scary number way, but you need to know that a tablespoon of olive oil or any oil is 120 calories. Okay, so if you're not counting drinks or any oil you put in pans or anything like that, butter, anything you cook with, that is going in your body but not being counted. And that is that's probably it. That's probably it right there. I was just like, oh, oil for cooking, it doesn't add in. Nope, add it in. Anything that goes anywhere near or in your body. Anything. Enter. Add it in. Centimeter, thanks for the follow. Add it in. That is probably the sticking point. If I were to guess, that's most likely what's happening. So yeah, spices do not count. That's the nice part, right? So you can put plenty of like pepper on things, seasonings, right? All the seasonings you've heard and loved, but specifically butter, oil, things like that have a lot of calories. What I would do in your situation, because you're going to be on a deficit anyway, is swap to sprays over putting in like actual oil, right? So use like Pam, basically. That's going to be 0 calories if you spray for a very short amount of time, you know? Use the sprays. The sprays. Cooking oil generally is the same calorie density as spirits. Yeah, no, it's like 120 per tablespoon generally, so. What's the best option for non-sticking? Any particular brand? No, I know nothing about that part of things, unfortunately. I just hit it with generic brand Pam, basically. So. My LMNTS are only 10 calories. What are those? LMNTS? I don't know what those are. Also, for places where you can't get normal spices, hot sauce. Yeah, hot sauce is good too. There's a reason why a lot of bodybuilders use hot sauce. If we're talking about like, try to think of the brand. God, what's the big brand? Frank's Red Hot is like 5 calories per serving. Like mustard too. Mustard's also very low in calories. As far as sauces go, vinegar is like basically 0 calories, right? You can use hot sauces, you can use mustards, things like that. 0 calorie oil and it's electrolyte drink. You got the pots and EDS, so it keeps me alive. Yep, the combo. The combo we see a lot of, right? Is that Eller Stanlos and Potts? The combo we unfortunately see quite a lot. Just brought some Frank's Red Hot today. Nice. But yeah, that's most likely going to be the factor, is oils or things added in. You just have to think about calories like this. Literally whatever goes in your body, if it has calories, is being impacted like that. So if it's a Coca-Cola can, it'll say how many calories that are on it. If you drink it, that's in your body. Oil, if you put it in the pan, assume that's in your body. Now, obviously, not 100% of the oil is going to be absorbed when you cook with it, but don't give yourself that wiggle room, right? Like, don't trust that that's the case and try to estimate it correctly to get, like, eke out a few extra calories. If you're wrong, take the extra deficit. But it's better to just count exactly what you put in the pan and assume you're having all of it. That will probably lead you to success. So, that does explain things, though. Yeah, we in the trenches. And there goes. Oh, no, there we go. My kilobytes were breaking for a sec, but I'm back. Why is my connection not good? There it is. Next question. Do you have any resources to share for lower calorie meal planning? I laughed because I saw human dog chow in capitals at the lower. Let's see. That was Twitch.
It's huge.
Command, thank you for the bits again. Speaking of hot sauce, I bought the Hatsune Miku limited edition hot sauce set featuring hot heat, which they rate as 11 out of 10 in the heat scale. Chili extract at 2 to 6 million Scoville. You've been adding a teaspoon to your chocolate smoothies. Ooh! Capsaicin burns calories. I mean, you're not wrong, Command. I personally wouldn't try to get extra calorie burn out of eating spicy food like that, like just straight hitting capsaicin hot sauce. It's probably negligible, but it does work a little. Like, it's hard to say. I wouldn't count it as anything, but it's like the same vibe as like, oh, I'm drinking cold water to burn more calories, right? Because it has to be like heated up in your body with a little extra energy, right? That's the same vibe. Or like taking cold showers to burn more calories. Or I mean, to a more real extent, thermic effective food, right? Where it's like, well, protein takes a little more to burn. So eating more protein will technically give you some extra calories, but not in like a major significant way, unless you're only eating protein, really. So to try to count cows better now and see how it goes, Leafy. You might find something. You might find something interesting. You might find some information. But feel free to come back if you keep having issues. I will help where I can. But also definitely get a second opinion. I don't like that 1,000 calorie diet. Not a fan. Still have the Nether hot sauce and McDonald's Minecraft collab. Oh, I haven't gotten like anything fancy recently. I should get into hot sauce more. It's been a while. I used to put Tabasco on everything, but I haven't had it in like quite a while. You like the burn? All right, that's respect. Just watch out for your esophagus. Like to crush up Sichuan peppercorn to sprinkle on some things? Yeah, I like red pepper flakes and Tabasco and a lot of stuff. Anyway, question. Do you have any resources to share for lower calorie meal planning? I have a hard time finding time to cook and count calories throughout the week. At this point, I'm about to go the human dog chow route. Now chat. Hard time finding time to cook and count calories. If only there were a high protein, very easy to prep option. If only, what could I possibly be thinking of? Yeah, what could I possibly be thinking of? Damn right it is. Get on Brickin'. Click that link right there. My creation. The wiki recipe for Brickin' is right in there. It's time to eat your Brickin'. Yeah, thank you. Here's my Brickin' model. Welcome. This is me right here. It's time to eat your Brickin'. If you revert to your hot sauce on everything days, I will find your doctor. No, I like it. It was good. It was a good day. Get a Vite Ramen sponsorship? You mean the one I have? Tee. Oh, by the way, it's Vite. No, it's Vite. It's Vite, right? It's Vite like fight. I've read the doc. Yes, I do actually have a Vite Ramen sponsorship, by the way. Use code VTuber Mail for 10% off Vite Ramen. That's a real thing I have. Not even a bit. Yeah, I talked to, what's it called? The CEO and I talk sometimes about fitness stuff and nutrition stuff in DMs. Tee. So, you know, Vite Ramen rocks. I actually think it's like a really good way. It kind of covers all the things a lot of people don't get, like Vite Ramen does, where it's like high fiber and also high protein and fortified with vitamins, but it's ramen. So like if you were to combine Vite Ramen with Brickin', that's a meal right there. That's some nutrients right there. That's all I'm saying. But like, no, straight up, I'm not even bit right now. Try Brickin'. Okay. Low calorie meal planning. So Obviously, when you're looking at low calorie meal planning, you want to look at volume foods. So you want to look at things like popcorn's really good for this. That's one of my big recommendations. You can have like a whole bowl of popcorn that's like kernel popped with like a little bit of salt, maybe a tiny bit of butter on it for like 300 calories. And you're going to be eating it for like 25 minutes straight to get through it. Right? Rice cakes are also good low calorie things. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, chicken, right? All the usual stuff. A lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. You know, you're not going to want to eat 500 calories of watermelon. I promise you that. It's going to be a lot. So just look into that stuff. I unfortunately don't have any like resources that I've made to share for any of that stuff. I can give like examples of meals I've played around with. Like I play around a lot with egg whites and cabbage to increase volume of things for you know, very, very little. There's obviously a lot of tricks like using cauliflower rice, using keto products that are going to be lower calorie because they're made mostly out of fiber that's non-digestible. So you can get like keto bagels or keto bread for half the calories of normal stuff while still getting the full amount, and it'll also help keep you full because it has more protein and fiber. So there are things like that, but definitely try Brickin', and that's not even a joke because Brickin', again, is one of the fastest things to prepare without thinking about it. Fire and forget, and it gets you most of the way to your protein throughout the day. It's also only 640 calories for a whole Brickin', and you can sprinkle it in your food throughout the day. So highly recommend that. You know, you can use Brickin'. You can literally do Brickin' beans and rice. You can do Brickin' in soup. You can do Brickin' in salad. You can do Brickin' in anything. Pasta, you know, fiber pasta, something like that. And you're just getting massive amounts of protein in everything. And you can spread it out. It's just a good banger. And the thing about it is, again, with the Brickin', you don't do anything to it. So it actually takes 7 seconds to prep because all you do is you open the package, you put it in the oven, and then you leave. Right? You set it. I'll set mine. So like I'm using a toaster oven, right? I'll set mine at 375 and I'll put it in when it's cold and put it for 35 minutes. If it was already preheated, maybe I do 30 minutes at 375 or 350, but 375, I put it in when it's cold. I literally set the oven and I put the Brickin' in and I walk away. And 35 minutes later, there's my Brickin' for the day. Easy. You don't eat. There's not even prep. There's not even prep. Put some seasoning on top. That easy, right? Make the Brickin'. That's my big recommendation. That's my big recommendation. Do you see Jean Wanwan's hot dog? No, I didn't. Yeah, I'd have to check that out if you send it. Yeah. What seasoning would you recommend with Brickin'? I like using Montreal chicken seasoning. That's like a brand, like the Montreal brand chicken seasoning, but you can use anything, right? You could just use salt and pepper. I know Cammy does that. You could use obviously garlic powder, onion powder, anything really. Yeah, toaster oven, put in and come back 30 minutes later and it's done. And it's done. You don't have to be there. Right? You just set a timer, you walk away. And you don't even have to wait for it to preheat. You can start cold and just let it cook the Brickin' as it preheats, right? And then it's done. It's perfect. Brickin's amazing. Perfect invention. Perfect invention. All right, next question. Let's see. What do we have here? I'm currently doing a calo deficit diet to lose weight, eating 12 to 1500 a day. Don't have a specific target weight, but at least 10 pounds by July. For reference, I'm male, 28, 5'7", 160. Thank you for all this information. This actually makes it really easy to do calcs for you. I'm getting my macros. My meal plan and snacks cover nutrients, dairy, probiotics. Sounds like you're killing it. Sounds like you're doing a bunch. Also making fruit smoothies with no extra sweeteners other than maybe yogurt. Damn, look at you. Counting all calories and serving sizes. Miscellaneous things like oils. Haven't eaten out in a while. No gym or outdoor exercise because bad neighborhood. Will take long walks 2 days a week. Been on the deficit for about a month now and have not experienced any negative effects to my health. Can I get your thoughts? I mean, I don't see necessarily why you would have seen any negative effects to your health. This just sounds like a really good diet to me. I mean, the calories do seem a little low, but I think for a month you could get away with this, especially like you said. Okay, so you're 5'7", 28, 160 pounds, right? So you're burning a lot more calories than this. This is definitely under your what's it called, BMR, basal metabolic rate. Definitely under your basal metabolic rate. The thing is, if you have fat to lose and weight to lose, you won't die eating that amount for a period of time. If you eat it long term, it's going to be very difficult, and you're putting like more stress on your body to lose weight that fast or lose weight and not rebound and stuff like that. Like there's a mental effect proportion, there's a metabolic portion to it where your metabolism might do some funky things. But like you can eat low calorie and be fine within like a month or two. I don't recommend it though. It's definitely not the best way to do things. In fact, if I were to do the math here, you want to lose 10 pounds by July. I would say a better way to do it, which would maintain more of your muscle. Also, anonymous gifter, thank you for the gifted 2 Leafy. Appreciate that. So let me do some math for you. Let me grab the OmniCalc because I know your BMR is higher than that. So let's take a look at the OmniCalc and go off sedentary. And I'll talk a little bit about this. Because again, you have to understand, you will lose weight faster if you're in a super deficit, right? Even if it's an unhealthy deficit, you're going to lose weight faster. It will work. It just isn't the best for maintaining your muscle, your health long-term, or the ability to not bounce back afterwards, right? Because you're basically shocking your body to an extent where it's going to really, once you hit your goal, want to go back to where it was because you're not giving it time to ease in metabolically to your new weights and stuff like that, especially because you're losing so fast, right? Your body remembers being a higher weight and wants to act like it is in many cases. I don't mean like act calorically like it is, but it will try to, like, not your body, but you will subtly go towards the habits you used to have if you don't build them sustainably, right? It's more of a mental thing. OmniCalc, TDE. Let me throw some math in here for you. All right, let's do the math this time. We have all the data we need pretty much, so let's get it. We know male, right? Male 28, 5'7", 160. Male 28, 5'7", 160. Not bad stats at all. And we have little to no exercise. Right. Okay. So BMR 1600, TDE right around 2000. That's what I would expect being sedentary. I would expect about this. This makes sense to me. So you're actually at 1500, not eating too far below your BMR. You are, but it's not in a point where it's going to kill you. Like, you're probably fine. But the thing I would point out here is if your goal is to lose 10 pounds by July, you actually could go to a higher calorie amount and maintain more muscle and stuff like that and probably enjoy yourself a little bit more, because at the weight loss pace, you're going to make this no problem. So let's do the math here, right? Say you're burning 2000 calories a day and you're going to, let's go the high end, right? 1500 you're eating a day. That's a 500 calorie deficit per day, 500 per day, right? Over the course of a week, exactly a pound. So you got 10 weeks. Right? 10 weeks from now, from this date, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That is, I believe, June. Yeah, that's June 11th. That's halfway through June. So you actually do have some wiggle room. And that's at the highest extent. At 1500, you could bump those calories up even more to like 1700 and still make 10 pounds by July. And you'd also get to eat a little bit more and probably maintain a little more muscle while you do it. So not the worst idea, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with this in a short period of time for like a sprint. It just might be a little more difficult. But again, 10 pounds isn't that big of a deal too for impacting you. Where you want to be careful about going into these massive deficits under TDEE is think about an example where somebody is, you know, let's say 260 pounds, right? Someone's 260 pounds. They want to get down to 170, right? Massive amount of weight loss. And they're going to try and eat at 1,000 calories the whole time, right? That's going to take them a long time to do and a long time to maintain, and that length of time doing that is going to be the impact. But if you're only losing like 10 pounds, you can lose 10 pounds in a sprint and not have severe negative impacts. Absolutely. So that makes a lot of sense to me. Probably not the most optimal way to do it, but it works, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. And the diet's really good too. Like, I like what you're doing here diet wise, so no problem there. Kind of looks like a banger. So hey, if it's working, stick to it for a bit. And yeah, but if you wanted to maybe make it like a tweak a little more optimal, I would say, you know, maybe go up to like 1700, and then you'll still probably hit that 10 pound by July in a little bit of a safer way. But it's also not that big of a deal. We're splitting hairs at this point. 15, you're fine. I wouldn't do 12. I just would eat at 15 if I were you. Just stay at 15 if you want to. Just don't do 12 consistently forever. Keep in mind, the whole Ozempic causes muscle loss thing is because people are eating so little on it, they're just losing muscle. Yes, I know. That's something I talk about all the time, is at the beginning, people thought Ozempic actually like withered away your muscles, but it turned out that it was because, fun fact, Ozempic actually works like a monkey's paw sorcerer spell, where if you don't understand nutrition and take Ozempic, it will turn you into skeleton dust. But if you do understand nutrition and take Ozempic, you won't turn into skeleton dust. Because turns out when people don't want to eat, they also don't eat protein, and then their muscles wither away, and that's what happened. So you need nutrition info first, or you turn into skeleton dust. But exactly. Oh, I'm not showing OmniCalc, my problem. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I thought I was showing OmniCalc. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you just heard me do the math. I said it, but 2,000 calories for the maintenance run. You gonna make brickin' this week? Hell yeah, Creepy. Hell yeah. All right, let me catch up on chat. Let's... I shredded around 100 pounds in a single 6 to 8 months. It was suffering to go that hard. Yeah, it's suffering. And the unfortunate thing about that, Ven, is actually statistically, like people who can do that. I've done that before too. Not 100 pounds, but like 60 when I was bigger. The chances of gaining back that weight statistically are 90 to 95% with how fast that loss was. Not saying that's going to happen. It's purely going to be a battle of willpower. But 10 years out, when you measure people who do stuff like that, they always are back to where they were or higher, because it was such a crash diet situation. So be aware of that and use that as a tool to fuel motivation is what I would say, because that is the statistical reality about losing weight that fast. Is it becomes much more difficult to keep it off. It's a mental thing at that point, a game, a battle, a war. Need to become a world-class bodybuilder before on key so I can look cool at the water park. What do? Yeah, right. Well, there's some no, I'd never recommend anything like that. No. Unless you're Tracy Morgan and out-eat the Ozempic. I could probably out-eat the Ozempic. I bet I could do that. Let's see. Sort of back, big storm in my area, so I can't stay. Signals toast. Have a good evening, y'all. Thanks for the encouragement. No problem, Leafy. I'm glad we could help, and let us know how it goes. I'm glad to be able to offer whatever help I can. Have a good one, and good luck in the storm. You gained weight on it? I could pull that off. Yeah, it turns out the key was still good nutrition. Oh, tell me more about skeleton dust. Okay, yeah, so to explain once again, basically, so all Ozempic does, and all the other GLP-1 agonists and stuff like that, all they do is suppress your hunger, right? That's what they do. So you're just less hungry, right? So you eat less. That's why people lose weight on Ozempic. The funny thing about that is when people eat less. Oh, hey, Command, thank you for the 10 gifted. Thank you so much. All right, that's gifted to Zepter, Valier, J-Game, Lychee, Grimmelkinney, Kells, Big Man Leon, Perfriferbow, Spike Wombat, and Squeaky. W subs. Thank you so much, Command. Command, big love. On my hands and knees, Command. Oh, that's my food. That's my rent. That's my food and my rent. Thank you so much. Now I can afford to be Sclim just a bit longer. But yeah, so on Ozempic, right, people didn't want to eat as much, so they didn't, and then they lost weight. The other fun result of that being they didn't eat, so they lost muscle and iron and micronutrients and other things because they never actually understood how nutrition worked. They just took it, right? And they didn't realize, I need to eat protein or I'm going to waste away. So they wasted away. And then everyone saw that and they did initial studies and they were like, Ozempic causes muscle loss. Oh no. No, mechanistically it did because people didn't know what they were doing. That's why. Nothing inherently, as far as we know, about Ozempic causes muscle loss. It's just that the under-eating of protein caused by Ozempic making people less hungry and them not knowing how to do that made them lose muscle. So, who knew eating was important, right? The Ozempic face. Let's see. Also, in another note, just found out creatine's also good even if you don't work out. Yeah, creatine's amazing. I don't want to always be like, I don't want to say everyone has to take anything, right? I don't want to be like, oh, you have to take this, you should take this, you have to take this. But there's really no reason why like everyone in the world shouldn't be taking creatine. Unless you have like an intolerance or like a bad like kidney or something like that. But like, you know, it's just good. It's just good. It's just better. It's just a superhuman supplement. That's all. And you can get it in Hit Gamerade from Gamersubs. Use code VTuberMail for 10% off. See, I'm getting Etu, don't beat me. Don't kill me. Question, are protein requirements for people calculated on lean mass or general body weight? Good question, Liz. Good question. Okay, so fun answer. For the longest time, when people did protein calculations, and you've probably seen this on YouTube, the big one everyone would go for in the US was eat a gram per pound of body weight, right? That was the easy way to tell people get your protein. And that does work. But it took a little bit for people to start to think about that and go, wait a second, why am I eating a protein for my fat weight? That's not metabolically active the way muscle is. So then we came to the conclusion, and the very obvious conclusion, honestly, in my opinion, that like, yeah, no, you just eat for lean body mass because you're like, just because if you were theoretically 330 pounds, you would not need 330 pounds of protein. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like, that's not your muscle. That's mostly fat weight. That's a lot of fat weight. So yeah, you calculate based on lean body mass. Calculate based on lean body mass. But the nice part about that, and the reason why I think a lot of people probably knew that, but we're still calculating on gram per pound, is because gram per pound assures you get your protein. It's like, yeah, if you just always do a gram per pound, no matter what, no matter who you are, you will get your protein. What it doesn't account for is the fact that we're real humans who have wallets, and protein's expensive and the economy is kind of rough. So we maybe don't want to spend that much on protein, right? Like theoretically, I would love to eat 215 grams of protein a day or something, depending on, I would love to eat an insane amount of protein, right? I'd love to eat 200 grams of protein, 215 grams of protein, 250 grams of protein, whatever. That'd feel good for me because it's satiating, right? But realistically speaking, I don't want to spend that money, and I'm going to get the same effect muscularly out of eating lean body mass, right? Or like reasonably, which is like probably 140 grams, something like that. So like from a money perspective and a calorie perspective, you don't have to calculate off total body mass. Lean body mass is total, you know? 330 grams of hot chocolate smeared protein balls per pound. Yeah. At least one of those gamer drink companies have protein drinks. Guess GamerSupps wasn't one of them. I don't think GamerSupps has protein drinks yet. No, but they did creatine, and they've obviously their vitamins and stuff like that. So obviously that. Rome, thank you for the gifted to H2O Beyond. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we got another hype train. That's 2 today. Oh my God. Guys, you're spoiling me. Teehee. Points fingers together. Honored. On the other side, GamerSupps uses erythritol instead of aspartame and others, so it's keto friendly. Ah, interesting. Interesting. I eat around that 200 gram. I used to eat 200 gram. I just can't afford that now, straight up. Like, that's the reason why. The reason why is I really have to look at my budget and be like, I get to spend maybe $50 or $60 on food per week. And that does not include 200 grams of protein. That includes 140 grams of protein, right? That is my weekly food budget is $50 to $60 for all of my food in a week. So we do not get 200 grams of protein here without losing infinite calories by eating like, I don't know, all lentils or beans or something. So yeah, I'm remote desktoping from my living room looking at Benui. Let's see. Is there a point where too much protein makes a sedentary person more fat, have a harder time losing weight? Only if it's over their calories. The thing about protein is it does have calories. Every gram of protein is 4 calories. So if you're overeating calories, just like anything else, you would gain weight. But nothing inherently about protein makes you, as a sedentary poor person, gain more fat. Not at all. But the same goes for carbs and the same goes for fat. There's no substance that just inherently outside of calories will make you gain more weight. Gain more fat. Let me be clear. Gain more fat. Because some things might make you, quote unquote, retain more weight by nature of water weight retention via sodium and carbs and stuff. But gaining fat is a caloric thing. So dude, calories are what matter there.
It's huge.
Foxtrot, thank you for the bits. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, thermodynamics. So there's nothing wrong with about eating a lot of protein. In fact, protein's great because not only is it just good for you and can be used in many places besides muscle in your body and is needed in many places besides muscles, including your organs, it's also good because it is higher satiety, meaning that when you eat protein, you feel more full. For losing weight, that's a great thing because you feel more full. So protein is just good all around, and it's something you want to heavily look into eating a lot of generally. So yeah, also having more muscle, again, will increase your metabolism. So you get to eat more. It's great. It makes it really easy. That's why I think the best combination is lifting weights when you're starting to lose weight as somebody who is overweight or obese, because you are going to have not only the benefit of gaining a lot of muscle at the beginning, but your metabolism will probably stay about where it is or even go up a little bit if you're gaining a lot of muscle. So it's easier to lose the weight because you get to eat more. So, and then you look jacked too and you get really strong because you get to play around with big boy weights because you started heavier and you have that already in you, right? Like the reality is because people who tend to be more overweight carry more muscle as well, right? Because they're eating a lot. They do tend to get a little more protein than someone who's underweight and they're moving their body more, right? They have more weight to move. They're going to be stronger. They're going to be stronger than someone who's underweight, right? So an underweight person who's starting off lifting and they're trying to gain weight, you might see them like bench the bar. Like if we're talking a guy, like we'll say a guy, might have trouble who's very underweight, start with like the bar and maybe like 15 or 20 pounds. There are some people I've trained who start off on the obese side of things, and they're like 260 pounds or so to start, like guys who are like 6 foot tall, and they'll start benching at like 180. Like that's just like where they start, right? So that very much depends. And I have to tell people all the time, like I have clients who will try to compare themselves to other clients, and I'll have to be like, brother, that other client is 80 pounds heavier than you are. Like, of course they bench more. Don't worry about it. Worry about your relative weight to your bench. That's a different ball game, right? Do not look at that ball game. They're playing football over there. You're playing baseball. All right. So let's see. Midwestern diet of Pabst Blue Ribbon and Pilk. Yummy. Yummy. So let's see. Yeah. So nothing wrong with eating too much protein. Just watch the calories, as with anything. Just watch the calories.
Dude, your bit's huge.
Dude, your bit's huge. Poemi, thank you for the biddies. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Poemi. Big heart emojis. Big heart emojis. Crying. Me squatting body weights. Most people squatting body weight plus 60. Yeah, exactly. And that goes for anything, right? Like pull-ups. Right? You'll have people who are like, you know, clients who are at a...
Your bit's huge.
Fox, thanks for the bits. Clients who are at like an average weight, right? Like a BMI, average BMI. You know, they'll crank out pull-ups and stuff. And then the person who's like 260 pounds will, you know, have a lot of time before they can do a pull-up. Or they can only do a 3 or 4. And then they'll be like, oh, I can't do that many pull-ups. I have to remind you, you're lifting 260 pounds in a pull-up. That's way harder, right? If you put 260 pounds on the other person, they're not going to lift a lot either, right? Same for squats. And thank you for the hype train. We got a level 4 off that. We got a little red card emote. Thank you. So yeah, just have to remember that you're moving your body weight too. And that matters in lifts, right? That matters in lifts. Yeah, show Planet Fitness membership card. Do it. I actually have to try and get out of a gym contract, I think. I made an oopsie. I made a bit of an oopsie, but I think they also might have scammed me, so I might scam them back, because I signed up for a gym recently, and so I signed up for a gym, and it was fairly expensive, but I liked the stuff they had there, right? They had some cool stuff, and hold on while I compare my bench to Sclim's bench. Yeah, and so I signed up for this gym, and like a week after I signed up, like a week and a half or 2 weeks after I signed up, I had like an income change situation that made it very silly for me to be paying a $60 gym membership. And so I went back to them, and I did sign a contract, so I understand that. And I went back to them and I was like, hey, listen, I haven't used the gym. It's only been like a week and a half. Can we just X the contract? Like, I wasn't paying yet anyway. It was in like the free month. And I hadn't used it yet. And I was like, I had a income scenario. Can we just X the contract? And they were like, no, you signed it, so you can't do that. And I was like, all right, whatever. Well, I'm looking a couple days ago to try and figure out how to get out of this, and I see there was a 30-day cancellation policy that they just didn't tell me about when I said I wanted to cancel, and they said I couldn't. So I think they lied to me about being able to cancel. So I'm going to lie to them about moving to Florida. Let me take a drink. See how they like that one. There's a clause in the membership that if you move outside of like 20 miles... of an area where the gym is, you get to break the contract. So guess who's living in Florida now? Guess who's going to Photoshop an electric bill from Florida? It's me. Gonna be me. Get wrecked. Yeah. So, yep, that's the clause. That's the plan. You're gonna ask, go find an electric bill from Florida and Photoshop my name on it in a PDF editor and be like, I'm leaving. Bye. Email it to them. Cancel immediately. Yeah, that's all right. They frauded me first. No, it's not committing fraud in Florida. I'm using Florida as a scapegoat because there's none of this gym in Florida, and I have to move outside the range of the gym for me to be able to break the contract. So I'm moving to Florida now, on paper. Yeah, it's not illegal, and you don't know who it is. I'm just telling you about my new move to Florida, right? I'm just going to Florida. That's all. Hey, listen, they fought first. Fair game. They told me I couldn't cancel when there was a 30-day cancellation policy. They said there's nothing that could be done. So, now we're fighting. And I win these. Let's see. He's just going to Florida. Just a smidge. Yeah, just a smidge. Just a smidge. Flork's... Wait, what do you mean Flork has created Yuri? Can we hold on? There's a lot of messages coming, but I'm looking at that one. Ayoda, would you like to expound on that? Thanks for the incriminating evidence. It's all right. You don't know. Just a little Sclim. You don't know who it is, who it could possibly be. Secret. Also, come kill me. Also, come kill me. All right, let me look up this Flork. Oh, hold on, this Flork thing. Let me take a look at this. I want to see what we're doing here. Why are we doing Yuri? What's up? Flork is drawing Yuri and dropping it online. Why? Oh my god. Oh no. What are these? Yes, we can. I have a wolf cut. We can't kiss. We're both girls and we're in a recession. Yes, we can. I have a wolf cut. That's fair. That's fair. That was Twitter, though. I don't want to put that on screen. More of a puppy. What's a puppy cut? What's a puppy cut? Can we talk about that? I've heard of a wolf cut. What's that? But that's forbidden, love. That's what you have? I really don't. My hair might be fluffy. My hair might be fluffy and bouncy right now, but I do not have a puppy cut. You'll learn when you're older. I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up. I'm older. I'm older now. Looking it up. What's a puppy cut? A puppy cut's a popular low-maintenance dog grooming style. What? No, like in humans. Oh, it's just a dog thing. Just a dog thing. Lack of girls kissing is actually a well-known recession indicator. Is that true, Jack? Is that true? Is there Zora, what's a puppy cut? And do humans have them? I need an expert. We gotta call in the expert. We're getting off topic from gym stuff. Yeah, well, we only do gym stuff so much as there is gym stuff, and then we move on to other endeavors like we're doing right now. So we have fun here. We have fun here. So let's see. It pisses me off because it's not really an actual cut. It's like the same energy as Starbucks secret menu. Oh, okay. Never would have thought you didn't like broccoli. It's supposed to be good for you. Blobby, they are good for you. Broccoli's very good for you and you should eat it. It's not my fault. It smells like smelly farts and tastes icky. That's not my fault. It is very good for you and you should eat it though. We need to make sure the Yuri's kept as far away from Wall Street. Yeah, ideally. Hey, Crispy, I got a puppy cut for real. I got a low maintenance cut that I have retained since childhood. I have a really low maintenance cut. It's called not cutting my hair. It's called my hair is incredibly long right now. I haven't cut it for like a year and it's down to my like shoulders. And it's my hair just my hair looks like it looks like a lion's mane. It just goes out. It just doesn't like go long, right? It doesn't go like down my back. It just goes like, but not out like a fro because it's like wavy. It's like, it looks like it's just a big fluffy like locks thing. A bit of like if you took not even Jesus cut. I'm trying to think if there's a good example. It's very fluffy and bouncy. It really is. It really is. But that's my low maintenance cut is not getting one, not getting a haircut. You know, the J cut. No. Yeah, the big J cut. No, we don't have the J cut. I don't know what cut we have. Apparently strippers know when a recession's happening because businessmen stop spending money. That's probably, I bet streamers and strippers both know when a recession's happening, right? Because we both rely on donations. We both rely on donations. There are recession indicators everywhere for those with eyes to see. Yeah, you put on the glasses. It's like, well, what's that movie called? They Live. You put on the They Live glasses. Pixie Extra RMs. Basically the same thing. Yeah. Strippers and streamers. Department store sales assistants. The stripper index, like the Waffle House index. I see. Yeah, we both rely on donations. You know, at heart, we're entertainers. So, confess your sins. Yeah, confess your sins. Chat, go ahead and confess your sins in Marshmallow immediately, right now, by the way. Confess your sins right now in Marshmallow. Go ahead. I'll wait. Feel free to put them right in there. Marshmallow's pinned in chat. Go ahead and confess your sins immediately. I'll wait. Yeah, Mom, I'm not a stripper. I just take donations. Yeah, me walking to the bank with the suspicious amount of cash I have every week. Me depositing the suspicious amount of cash I have every week at the bank. And then looking at me funny and be like, so what do you do? And me going, you said a no-no word today? Binka. You can't say no-no words. Like pretty bad. Might take a while. Orcus, listen, we have all the time in the world. We have all the time in the world. No? You know what? Actually, here's a good one. I'm going to go on ad break right now because we should all take a little stretch and use the bathroom and stuff. I'm going to use the little Sklims room. When I come back, I want to see some confessions and Marshmallow, okay? Go ahead and we will read your confessions like the Big J does. And we will be right back in 4 minutes. And everybody have a good little break. Want some confessions when we're back now, okay? This ad break is sponsored by Big J. Be right back. This ad break is sponsored by GamerSubs. All right, welcome back, everyone. I had yummy pineapple. What did you do besides confess your sins? I did see a lot of notifications. Let's see what we got. Okay, 13 to 21. Oh, boy, there's a lot of them. Oh, Okay. We're in just chatting now, not fitness, because we're doing confessions. We should do regular confession streams. I know Melfi and Yomi did one recently, actually. I guess that technically is wait, Easter's this weekend, isn't it? Oh god, I'm not even doing anything. I think my family's just kind of given up on celebrating Easter. Oh, I guess I'll have some chocolate or something. But welcome back, everybody. All right, let's read confessions. These are anonymous confessions. Okay. I already see some words here. When I was a child, I would shoplift, but I was always buy something to seem less suspicious. Okay, yeah, obviously. Father Sclim says shoplifting's not good. I did not shoplift. I have stolen before. But I stole Pokemon from people who weren't... Okay, I've told this story before, but basically my cousin had gold version, and he was older. He was like 2 years older, and he went away to... He's not actually a cousin. He's like a family friend that we like called a cousin. But he went away to like a stay away school when he was like a teenager, and he stopped playing Pokemon a long time ago. And he had this gold version, and I was in his room one time, and I was like 10 or like 11, and I was like, well, you know what? He's away for like 2 years, and I never had gold version. So really, I'm doing gold version a favor by liberating it to somebody who will appreciate and love it. And then I took his gold version. Yeah, so I have stolen a Pokemon game before. That's a good point, right? Like, you know, yeah, it's like that gold version was sitting there lonely. It's like Charmander. It was like the Charmander in the anime, right? It was sitting there alone and tired and crying, and I saved it, really. I saved its life. So, and then I got much use out of it. So I think that was the only time I stole. There might have been like one other time. I never stole from a store. I never shoplifted. But I stole. That was like the only time I can remember where it was like a really intentional steal, where I was like, I am going to steal this. Right? Like in my mind, I was there in the moment, self-aware, like I'm gonna steal this, and then did. I think that was the only time I could think of doing that ever. Maybe there was one other time, because I feel like I used to say there were two, but I don't remember the other one. No, I forget. Next confession. Apologies, Daddy. I kind of like veggies. No, that's good. Liking vegetables is good. I just don't like vegetables because I think they're all icky. But you should like them. Your life is easier if you like them. It's easier to volume eat if you like them. It's better. They're price efficient. They're good for you. That's all good. That's a good for you. However, you can't call me daddy. I think bro is a better term. So anytime you think about calling me daddy, replace it with bro. Right? I think that's a way to do things. Right? So it's like, apologies, bro. I kind of like veggies. Right? Instead of apologies, daddy. I kind of like veggies. It's like, apologies, bro, right? Like, dude, kind of like veggies. Father works too, and dad, I think, is all right. Like, I'm not gonna push that, but like Nuna calls me that, and I'm okay with that because it's like a bit where Nuna's like, hey, dad, and I'm like, yo, what's up, Nuna? But I think bro is good. I think bro's good. Recommendations for snacks when you just gotta have some snacks. Peanut pork rinds. That's not a confession, but we can answer it, absolutely, because that's a fitness question. Snacks when you just gotta have some, honestly, is all right. Popcorn, which I always chill because popcorn's really low calories, high volume. You can eat a lot of it. Popsicles are bangers. When you just gotta have a snack, a lot of popsicles are like 10 calories. You can get like 10 calorie popsicles. Same for Jello, sugar-free Jello. If you just gotta have a snack, that's like easy banger, right? The problem with peanuts, they're really good for you. They're 170 calories per like 28 grams. So there are a lot of calories. That's like not even a handful. If you grab a handful of peanuts, that's like 250 calories right there. So, or you could have like a bowl of popcorn, right? Which will you choose? Obviously, veggie snacks are good, like with little dips and stuff like that. Maybe like a low-fat ranch with some veggies, some carrots and stuff. But when you just got a snack, you know, plan for it. Just make sure you have a good snack. Daddy Sclim? Well, no, bro. The best one's him being our Sclimster. I'm a little Sclimster. Swerving too close to the dad bod. Slim Shady, yeah. I confess I only watched Sclimbo because I secretly plan to kung fu fight him at Offkai. I already have battle theme music loaded onto my Think Geek soundtrack t-shirt in preparation. Really? I'm not allowed to say I'm really excited, am I? I'm not allowed. Like, if the TMs were here, if the staff was here, they would say, Sclimbo, don't encourage the person planning to fight you at Offkai with a soundtrack. But I wanna. But I want to. That's so exciting. I low-key think daddy's the most hilarious term you can use during confession. Daddy, I have sinned. Well, that's a different ball game, like we talked about earlier. I'm not allowed to be excited that there's someone who's going to try and fight me at Offkai, but I'm pretty excited. I'm also pretty excited. In like a fun way. Hey, oh, here's that too. Hey, Sclimbo, don't encourage him to fight with a soundtrack. Do it, but win. I'll look away and film it. Okay. On it. Just wait till I get hit by my flying jump kick. I've been training for years for this. Let's see. Daddy, I've been naughty is so much funnier than Father, I've sinned. All right. Forgive me, Father, versus sorry, Daddy. Daddy, I made an oopsie whoopsie. No! No! But like, okay, so in a funny way, I'm down for this, but don't actually try to fight me to the death at Offkai. I'm gonna be like busy eating snacks and stuff, so. Hey, what's up, Real Foxy? You literally glow when you do? Damn. You think so? You think I'm glowing right now? Well, thank you. I don't know when I'm due. It's kind of a mystery, actually, when my evolution is, if that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about Mpreg, that's different. We're not there. I'm also someone who likes to fight with people. Legally, we don't fight people. Yeah, like a fun fight, I'm super down for. But like, if this person actually wants to aggress me, and that's like a crime, then don't do that. Don't do that. I will bite. I will fight back like a cornered weasel. Don't do that. But if for funsies, like we talked about with the goon thing, yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah, let's do it. As a bit. I have to say that legally. If there's a soundtrack, that's probably a fun fight, right? Are you sure you're not preggers? I mean, I've heard that some people don't know if they're pregnant, and that can happen, but I don't think I am. I don't think I held hands with anyone recently. Let's see. Today, I haven't consumed any of the gamer subs that I bought using code VTuberMail for 10% off. Damn, well, you got to consume it so that you can get through it and then order more gamer subs using code VTuberMail for 10% off. That's okay, though. That's okay, though. You can get started. My confession is that I'm Sclimbo. What? I'm Sclimbo. Baker. There's only one real hedgehog around here. Oni-chan. What if I did that? What if I did that? I have a really, okay, hold on. I have a really banger going live notification for tomorrow. I'm keeping it close to the chest. I got a really banger one for tomorrow. I just, you know, I just had some thoughts. I let the intrusive thoughts win. So we look forward to tomorrow's going live notification on Twitch. I think it's also going to be on Twitter early morning too. So, you know, are there any other Sclimbos I don't know about? Yeah, there's a bunch of Sclimbos. No, this is the primordial form of the male VTuber. So there's a lot of us. I just escaped the factory early. You're not allowed to work tomorrow. Let's see. I made a whole pot of mac and cheese for myself and ate it and ruined my appetite in the process. I think that's not even a bad confession. I think every once in a while, making a whole pot of mac and cheese and eating it kind of rocks. By the way, most pots of mac and cheese are actually probably maybe less calories than you would think. So like if you go get generic store brand macaroni and cheese and you just use a tiny bit of butter and a little bit of almond milk, the whole box is only about 750 calories. And if you're talking Goodles, which is like my preferred way to have mac and cheese, it's only like 600 to 700. So you can totally actually have an entire pot of mac and cheese, like reasonably. Like that's like within calories for a lot of meals, I think, depending on who you are, but. Oh, next one. I held hands and other lewd stuff before marriage. No. That's okay. You're allowed to hold hands before marriage. I think as lewd as it is, you're allowed. Are Goodles worth it? Yeah, they're like my favorite thing ever, Queso. I'm going to be so honest. Goodles are amazing because they have fiber. They're made out of vegetable nutrients, so I still technically get vegetables. That's my excuse. And they're lower calorie and they have protein. And it tastes good. I'm always tempted to buy them once a day. There have been times in my life where I've had them every single day for a month's on end. They rock. Yeah, use almond milk instead. Unless you want a little more protein, you have the calories for it, like if you're bulking or something. But holding hands, Stole trading cards like a monster. Okay, that's evil. That's evil. However, there was this really funny time once when I was a kid where I went over to my friend's house and we both thought that we were trying to steal each other's Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So we're both like separately hiding our binders from each other because we thought each other were going to steal each other's Yu-Gi-Oh cards. But the fun part about it was he definitely was trying to steal mine. I was not trying to steal his, but he definitely was trying to steal mine. We had crazy levels of trust, yeah. So, oh God. All right, hey Sclimbo, it's been 6 to 7 years since my last confession. Did you, by the way, you know what that silence was right after I said 6 to 7, right? You know what I did there. I snuck tasty treats during the start of my workout journey. Let's see. I snuck tasty treats during the start of my workout journey. Hey, that's fine. You've been on it for like 6 to 7 years, right? You can have treats, you're allowed. You're allowed to have treats every once in a while. I had Taco Bell this morning. It was within my calories, but I had a crunch wrap this morning. I woke up and then I had a bagel with cream cheese. And then I had a little, hold on, I'm recalibrating. Here I am. I had a little bagel with cream cheese. And then I had a little Nature's Valley, like baked oatmeal square peanut butter thing. And then about an hour and a half later, I went out and I got a crunch wrap Supreme because somebody last night funded me to get Taco Bell. Last night when I was streaming, it was like midnight and I was like, I want to get some Taco Bell. And then somebody sent me some money for Taco Bell. So I went and got that crunch wrap and that's what I've had so far today. After stream comes the protein because obviously a bagel, an oatmeal square, and a crunch wrap. Slim, what are you doing? You're not having any protein. My first meal after stream is going to be half of my brickin' for the day on a tostada for roughly 50 grams of protein. And then the meal afterwards is going to be an additional 80 grams of protein. So don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. This next one's definitely a sim. Did you do the nuggets in the crunch wrap? No, I didn't get the nuggets. I just wanted... Okay, so honestly, the crunch wrap was like way more money than I thought. It was like, why is it so much money? But I only had calories for the crunch wrap, so I just got that. So... The hour of Baja Blast midnight. Hey, what was up with those Baja Blast patches? Like, I still don't get that. It's not something you eat, but it had caffeine and it went under your eyes. So how is it Baja Blast? Like, Baja Blast is a flavor. How can you have a flavor that's not going in you? I don't get it. That's like saying like, oh, my window pane is lemon flavored. Like, what do you mean? That's not a thing you can do. Marketing, I guess. Taco Bell got expensive. I mean, it's like, I think it still has one of the best value menus ever. The thing about Taco Bell is there are items that don't make sense. So everything at Taco Bell is 5 or 6 types, like ingredients, right? It's like beans, queso, beef, chicken, tomato, sour cream, right? That's everything at Taco Bell. A crunch wrap is 530 calories and it is $6.99. Or a cheesy double beef burrito is $2.49, I believe, and 530 calories. Or I think it's 560 calories. So like, there's just a smart way to shop at Taco Bell to keep it cheap. If you just look at the value menu items, like calorie per yummy per price is just objectively better there to the point where you should probably like never order from the main menu unless you really like something. So Taco Bell can be cheap. It still has one of the best value menus. You said I gotta pick and choose, you know, gotta pick and choose. The new crispy chicken crunch wrap's $2.49. That kind of rocks. I want you to know I filtered my Vaporeon. Oh, it filtered your Vaporeon copy paste. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Very nice. The only time I don't do value menu is the Lux box and the Discovery box. That's fair, Starfire. The Lux box kind of looks like an okay deal. $9 and you get like 4 food items and a drink. That's not bad. That's not bad. But no, I think like the good fast food value menus so far, I think Taco Bell has a good one. And I think McDonald's still has the McChicken and the McDouble, I think for like $3. And I think that's like okay. But besides that, Wendy's might have one. I'm trying to remember. Wendy's might have a good one. I haven't been in a long time. Yeah, chicken crunch wraps are really good. Chicken flatbread's good. Yeah, because the thing is, the quesadilla, for some reason, the chicken quesadilla at Taco Bell is like $8. And I'm not doing that. Really not doing that when I can get 4 items for the same price. Okay, moving on. Forgive me, Sclimbo, for I have sinned. When I was young, I buried my friend's Halo Edition Mega Blocks in the sand and did not tell him. No. How could you do that? That's a sign of an evil soul. The sign of a very evil soul. You know, one time, so when I was a kid, little backstory, right? When I was a kid, I traveled a lot. I was moving between houses quite often. Not moving, but because my parents never got married, my Sclim parents, I would stay at my dad's and my mom's house, like per week, basically. Like I'd be moving to the point where I would be packing all of my stuff and taking it for a weekend every single week almost, right? So I got very good at not losing my stuff. I got very good at not forgetting things. That's a skill I have. My stuff doesn't get lost. I you know, just do not lose my stuff. I always know how to pack. I've lost maybe like 2 things in my entire life. And one of those things was absolutely 100% lost in sand on the playground when I was younger. Tragic. The 2 things, I know I've lost 3 things ever. 2 of them were stolen. So, or no, sorry, I think one was stolen. I think 1 was stolen because the 3 things I've ever lost were, I had a Garurumon figure, a metal Garurumon figure from Digimon that I lost in the sand somewhere at my playground at school, in elementary school. And I know I lost it there. I sifted for days. I could not find it. So maybe someone picked it up after I lost it. The second one was I did lose a Game Boy cartridge of Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi, because it fell between... So basically the school I was at had these like bleachers, kind of like these weird bleacher seating, but it was like wood paneling that you couldn't take up and there were gaps in it. So it just fell in there, but there was absolutely no way to get it. So like I knew where it was, it got lost in there and there was no way to open it up. It didn't get opened up until like the school got demolished, right? And then the third thing I lost was somebody did steal my original iPod Shuffle. But those are the only 3 things I've ever lost. So... I feel you on that. Losing something in the sand. You lost a Pokemon battle to me. That don't count. I'm talking about losing items. They do a BOGO for $1 McDoubles. Ooh, that's really good. Ooh, that's really good. Got an Egg McMuffin. The Canadian bacon was as thin as regular ham. Fair. Yeah, I am by definition a bastard. That's true. I am a bastard Sclim. Explains a lot about liking to live so you can throw everything in a backpack. Yeah, I think there's probably a little bit of that, Ayoto, right? Like, if we're talking about the upbringing affecting how people think, I think that's probably a big part of it. A big part of, like, wanting to live out of a small space is, like, my entire life was bringing enough to live with me every week, right? Like, got real good at packing and not forgetting things. So, makes sense. Makes sense. What's the biggie bag deal like? Oh, hey, Hikaru, what's going on? How you doing? One time you left a stuffed toy in Tunisia, didn't realize till I was home. Oh, okay. I did lose my Game Boy once, but I found it a year later, so I don't think that counts. And it also may have been stolen. May have been stolen. This was the same cousin, actually, who I took the gold version to. From, I lost my Game Boy Color there one time, and it just went away. We didn't know where it was. And a year later, I was at their house playing around and I found it like in between the bed and the bedboard. And I was like, that's my Game Boy. Oh my God, I found it. And at the time, I didn't think anything about that. I thought like, oh my God, I found my Game Boy after it being lost for a year. But I think back now and I'm like, it was like hiding in a prime position where if someone was sleeping in that bed, they could play it in secret as a kid. And I don't think I lost it specifically right there. So I think my cousin found it, didn't tell me, and then had a secret Game Boy for a year. So that when they took away his Game Boy, he still had one. So I found that one, though. So I don't count that one. Hey, can I ask you a question? You can, Zoe. You can. If it's a good question. You got a good question? Feel free. Doing all right. Busy in a lot of life stuff. How are you? Doing great. We're just yapping. Right ear, Sclimbo stream. Left ear, aircraft operations. Yeah, left ear, Bible in Chinese. Left ear, Bible in Chinese. Secret backup Game Boy. Thank you. That was my question. You're kind. Oh, your question was if you could ask one. Oh, wow. That feels like I won something. That feels like what like in like mythology, like Odin does. He like appears as a traveler and is like, please help me on the side of the road. And then you do, and then he's like, I'm Odin. You helped me. Thank you. You're kind. Felt like that. So thank you for that. Biggie bag has several versions, but the cheapest is 4 items for $4. That's pretty damn good. Zoli, thanks for the follow. Wait, 4? Wow. Burger, fried chicken, and a soda for $4. That's kind of good. You're Odin? Odin? Odin here in my chat, localized entirely in Twitch. That's crazy. Oh, there's so many more. Okay. I accidentally stole a book from my old 4th grade class. Was in secondary school, went back to primary to hold drawing activities with the after-school educators I knew a couple times. Went to visit my old teacher. She let me borrow a choose-your-own-adventure book. Kept meaning to return it and forgetting, so now 10 to 12 years later, I still have the book. Yeah, that happens. There are things where, like, I borrowed them from a friend, and then the friend moved before I returned it, and so they were mine now. I have had that happen. I feel like that's, like, not stealing, though. Almost. Where, if you borrow a game and the friend, and, like, they leave, right? Like, you don't get a chance to give it back. It's like, I didn't try to steal it. I just happened to steal it, you know? Any new sins? Yeah, we got a bunch. I confess when I was in my teens, I broke the marble 10 Commandment statue in front of our town's courthouse. Oh! Woo! My entire town thought it was a political statement when I was just trying to do sick wall jump off of it. Yo, that rocks. Oh my god. That kicks ass. I love that it's like they thought it was a big deal and they're like, someone struck the 10 Commandments. What is this coming to? And it was really just a kid trying to do like a sick parkour kickflip. Hell yeah. Not the breaking part. That's rough because it's like a cool statue and stuff like that. But like the sick wall jump, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of the sick wall jump. I think it's important to do sick wall jumps. Happened to you with a copy of Pokemon Emerald? You were doing a sick wall jump off of it? Oh no, you were trying to... I gotcha. Yep. I gotcha. Yeah, 10 Commandments, rule of cool. Rule of cool supersedes. Yeah, imagine you start a civil war because of a cool parkour move. That would be a good story. That'd be a good story. Uh-oh, this is the follow-up. Our battle will be legendary. I'll provide you with one tool of battle of your choice. Soccer boppers, a Nerf gun, a cool stick. Plastic costume nunchucks left over from a Michelangelo kit. Okay, now I'm going to warn you. If you give me a cool stick, it's going to be unfair. It's going to be unfair if you give me a cool stick. I did almost run the LARPing club in college. It's over for you if you give me a cool stick that's a foam boffer. I'm going to be swinging that around. I'm going to look like, going to be like Cloud. Going to be hitting you with like Cloud tech. Going to be hitting you with like the 7 swordsman tech. You're going to have a bunch of stuff going on. You ever see Killer Bee from Naruto? It's going to be me if you give me a stick. Watch out. Watch out. Sclim Hazard if you give me a cool stick. I'd be wielding that like a lightsaber. Got my Form 5 going. Got a God and anime on my side. Better watch out. Been studying Anakin's moves. Back when I was in high school, I would steal manga volumes from a bookstore in the mall by shoving them down the front of my pants. I'm pretty sure they knew, but didn't want to call that out because I was a kid. How do you even go about trying to get that back? You don't at that point. Like, you definitely don't. I guess you could just walk in and give them back, to be fair. I do know somebody who used to do a thing where they, during Black Friday at Best Buy, I think it was Best Buy or Walmart, and they would wear one of those like drawstring bags. So they'd wear a drawstring bag and then put a sweatshirt over it. And during Black Friday, they'd just walk into the video game aisle and just grab games and throw them down the back of their sweatshirt because there was a drawstring bag there, right? So it would just go into the bag and then they'd walk right out. And it was just like they would apparently pilfer like hundreds of dollars of games every Black Friday, doing that in like the mid 2000s. I never did it, but I did hear about it. No tag, I guess not during Black Friday. I don't think they had them back then. Take that bet. You got skills to back up the swagger? Put you in the ground with my stick skills. We'll see, Ven. We'll see. I'll be hitting jutsus. You better watch it. I got fire style. It's going crazy. I hit Chidori. I don't like the taste of Frank's Red Hot. That's fair. There's other hot sauces. That's not the only one. That's fair. That's fair, I'd say. Yeah, imagine Walmart not having every game ever locked up. Yeah, I guess they didn't back then. This was like the Wild West era. I don't want to say the Wild West era of Walmart, but like we're talking pre-technology, not technology, but like pre-anyone caring about any of that. So like it was just out on the shelves, and this was probably back during the like 360 PS3 era, the early 360 PS3 era. You know? The cylinder made it through? What's cylinder? Oh, wait, what is this? How would you get a small cylinder, 5.1 inch length, 4.5 inch girth, unstuck from a mini M&M's tube filled with butter and microwave mashed banana? It's imperative the cylinder does not get damaged. Is this like a science question? Wait, is this like one of those like a science theoretical question? No, it's a cylinder. Is this like It cannot be harmed. Why is there butter and microwave mashed banana in the M&M tube? No cutting the cylinder. The mini M&M tubes are... Hey, Hannah, welcome in. No cutting the cylinder? Wait, but aren't mini M&M's tube not even that big? I thought mini M&M's tubes were like hand size. Like they weren't even... I don't think they're 4.5 inch wide. I think aren't they like 1 inch wide? I can't even get my hands in there. In like a... Hold on. Dimensions... They're too big? Dimensions of... No, they're not. Mini M&M tube. A standard mini M&M tube. Yeah, okay. It's 4 inches long and slightly less than 1 inch in diameter. What M&M's tube's 4.5 inches in diameter? That's like you can fit your hand in there. That's a big old mini M&M's tube. That's confusing. The cylinder is the girth. Oh! Oh, well, you wouldn't have fit it in the first place. Cylinder never would have gotten in there in the first place if it was 4.5 inches in girth. Unless there's some way to contract. Oh. Okay, I figured out about halfway through, I'm gonna be honest. I figured out about when I started Googling it. I figured out about when I started Googling it. But before that, I thought maybe it was one of those science questions where it was like a train coming from one direction, 30 miles per hour, and another train coming a different direction. Like I thought it was like a logic test. Because I'm used to being one time when I was in the Sclim factory, here's the thing. One time when I was in the Sclim factory, when I was but a little Sclim, I did a stream that was 24 hours long. And in the final hour of that 24-hour stream, I took an IQ test online. And I got 85. So I was really worried that it was a logic test. I was really worried that it was like a logic test. And I was like, wait, is this like a science question I should know? So I was like carefully looking at it, and it took me a sec. Yeah, okay, to be fair, it had been 24 hours. It was like I hadn't slept for a long time. But I also don't know how much better I would do if I did sleep, because all of the questions were specifically spatial awareness questions on patterns, and that's the thing I'm the worst at ever. Like, if you just give me an IQ test and it's like patterns and like that sort of thing, right? And if it's like, oh yeah, manipulate this 3D object, that's just like, that's my dump stat, bro. Spatial stuff is my dump stat. That's not fair. So yeah, I'll get an 85. I might get an 85 anyway. You know, that's my dump stat. But I don't know how you don't damage the cylinder here. Maybe more butter? Maybe... I don't know. I don't know what you'd actually do in this situation. Guess you go hospital. I wasn't thinking a lot about the microwave mashed banana part. I was thinking about like maybe that was like the lubricant, right? Like I was thinking a lot about the math. I was making sure there wasn't a joke in the math because I didn't want to look stupid. But I am. I believe some of the accepted answers were a cast saw and careful use of heat. Oh, okay. You remember a dream like that? Yeah. The joke is in the lubricant. I get it. But I don't think of it like a cylinder, right? Like when I think of cylinder, I think of a solid object. But it's malleable. So it's a cylinder. Yeah, cold shower. That's a good idea. It's a cylinder. Okay, next up. I once got grounded off all electronics, but I managed to smuggle my PSP through the collection. Despite that, kept me going for a good long while after I got it jailbroken and filled with ROMs. I'm unrepentant. You should be. I think taking away all electronics is like a stupid move, and I would never do that. Not for a long time. I think like that just doesn't solve anything really. I remember actually I had a friend who got banned from playing video games for like 5 years. And so of course he just didn't follow that. Like, are you serious? It's 2000 and what? It was like 2008 or 2007 to 2011 or something like that. It's like, you're just not going to play video games for 5 years as a growing kid? No, of course not. Of course he found ways to do it. Of course he broke the rules. Of course he snuck his PSP, right? I would do the same thing. I think it's totally fair to, because trying to ban someone for a long time from all electronics is just stupid. It's just a old boomerism, I think, honestly. It's not the electronics that are causing problems, right? I know you take it away, the idea being like, well, you did something bad, so I'm going to punish you, right? And that's fine. But like, you know, a short period of time, right? I don't think you do it for a month or anything like that, or longer is crazy. So every time my dad banned me to use the PC or take my stuff away, the only thing it made me do is to learn how to do it without getting busted. Yeah, I'm going to be 100%. I never in my life had electronics taken away from me as a kid for being bad. Never in my life. That just did not happen. Did not happen. And I'm not saying that I was not a troublemaker. I was just a troublemaker in a way you couldn't really be mad about. You know? The canon event of hiding a DS under the pillow. Yeah, well, I would do that because I was staying up late to play it, not because I couldn't play it, you know? Like, I had control over my Game Boy. It was not something that was given to me. When I got my Game Boy when I was like 4, like that, I had control of the Game Boy, right? It was with me. It wasn't something given to me to play. So, this is a game you never found? Damn, that's tragic, Poemi. Actually, I have a question. Sorry, it's a weird question, but are you trying to keep things PG, like no swear words? I just don't use a lot of swear words. I don't necessarily keep things PG. Like, this is an 18+ stream. I just don't swear a lot. I'll do it every once in a while, but I just generally don't swear a lot. We're going back to the moon, baby. I know, I saw. That's really exciting. I'm really excited about that. Game Boy at 4. Yeah, I'm a 90s iPad kid. I got my Game Boy at 4 with Pokemon when it released. And, yep, it was over. Then it was over. Once I got my TV taken away, my stereo still played the TV audio. You just listen to it till it got back. Damn. Yeah, I never had electronics taken away. Never had it. Never had it. Drop an F-bomb to scare the kids away. Frick! Like that. Heard you read stuff because of shit. Yeah, I'll, you know, here and there. I must confess that I feel like a monster. Yo, me too. I had a strawberry dream monster this morning. I must confess that I feel like a monster. Feel like a monster. All right, let's see. More. I am a liability in my local gym. I've broken 3 treadmills so far this year. I don't know if I'm cursed or if my gym only buys cheap equipment. God help me, Sclim. Am I too strong for this mortal realm? How do you break a treadmill? I need to say this carefully. I need to ask this with all the love in my heart. Like, how does the treadmill break? Like, does it snap? Does it break at the axle? Does it snap in half? Like, what's happening? Is it the same every time? You touch it and it turns to dust? Like, what are we talking about here? Swear maxing, call that a frickin'. Yeah, true. Strawberry Dream isn't beating the fertility allegations. What does that have to do with fertility? What does Strawberry Dream have to do with fertility? Listen, I will drink the fruitiest, most feminine branded drink if it tastes good. I don't care, right? I don't care. If I'm gonna have to go in and order the Rudy Tooty fresh and fruity, I will. If it's a yummy snack, I care not. Address me, freak. What do I need to address, Duntham? I said frick. I said it. I said it. I said it, you know? Anyway, let's see. I want to know more about this treadmill store. Boggle. 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 Sclimbo, do you have striped thigh highs you need to admit to? No, I'm not a programmer. Elephants aren't allowed in gyms. That's the chatter's issue. Not sure how an elephant managed to find Twitch streams. Yeah, a real live elephant in chat right now. Real. What if one member in chat was a 4-ton African elephant and we didn't know? Anyone could be online. You never know who anyone is online. Maybe even a 4-ton elephant. Somewhere right now, there's an elephant sweating. Yeah, caught. Yeah, which one of you is a scorpion? Which one of you is a scorpion behind a keyboard? I'm looking at you. What if they were a sentient elephant? That's fine. I bet they're like kind of smart, right? Caught. The scorpion's me. You're a Gemini. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, how many scorpions in chat? I'm an Aquarius. I'm a Sclimbo. You know what's really bad, guys? You know what's really, really, really bad and really funny and really hilarious? Haha, let's laugh about it. Chinese Zodiac. I'm Year of the Dog. Literally can't beat the allegations, even if I want to. Literally can't beat the allegations. I have no choice. We know. I know. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. Oh shit. I'm a 4-ton African elephant and I keep breaking treadmills. Any advice? I knew it! I knew it! They call me crazy, but I'm right. One of you. I'm looking at you. We were right. We were right. Dallas Salad. 4 years old, Year of the Dog, Pokemon at 4, born 94. Yup. Yup. Year of the Metal Goat. Wait, what made the goat metal? Like metal goat as in like it's like metal, right? Or is it just like a metal goat? You're one day too early for dragon. That's puppy cut. Ah! Crazy. I was crazy once. It's an animal and an element. No, I'm a Libra. I'm a Libra. I like balance, scale, fair things. If things aren't fair, I explode. If things aren't fair, I go crazy and hurt myself. That's not true. That's not true. That's a joke. That's a joke. You're a wood dog? Yo, I'm a wood dog? Wait, why am I a wood dog? Wait, what? What is that part? Is that like Earth style? We're talking the Avatar The Last Airbender? Because I am an earthbender. He likes the forest. I do like the forest. I like wood. I'm a big fan of wood. Big wood enjoyer. So that's not wrong. Hi again, I'm the treadmill person. I don't know, they just stopped moving while I was mid-run. I'm healthy weight. They just hate me when I'm treading on the mills. That's a them problem. They're buying bad treadmills. There's no chance you coincidentally break 3 by, you know, running on them normal weight and stuff like that. That's them. That's them. They're stinky treadmills. Stinky treadmills. And to be fair, to get a bad treadmill is kind of hard. Like, I've gotten treadmills for free from the dump that don't break. So they must be really getting stinky treadmills. What's the brand, actually? Is it a good brand? If you know, in high school, I would lend kids money and then charge interest and collect later if they were late. Yo, we're running schemes. We got Ed and Eddie going on in chat here. I used to sell sodas out of my locker because what I would do is I got given money for food, like cash, basically. So I got given food, no, sorry, not cash, but food on like a card to get lunch at school. And so I had way too much money on the card for lunch at school. So I would buy all of the sodas or like a good portion of the sodas, and then I'd sell them in a massive loss out of my locker because I was getting cash. There was no, like, it was all profit, right? Because it was my mom's money in card form that I couldn't use anywhere else. And then I was getting cash. So I just ran a scheme out of my locker to sell sodas for like $1. I think they were like, oh god, I think they were like $1.50. They were like $1.50 or $2, and I was selling them for like 75 cents or something. Just completely undercut the market. Oh, this year's Fire Horse, the elements rotate. Gotcha. Metal wood. Yo, okay. Yeah, wood dog. Wood rocks. I love wood. That's like ground and forest and stuff. You know? I learned about economics at a young age. You're smart enough to bring a ton of energy drinks to a future business leaders of America conference in high school, resold them at a massive markup. Yo, I got super screwed one time. I got so screwed one time. I'll never forget this. And I'm like still a little mad about it. When I was in middle school, we did this thing where there was like a fake city. So we would all have jobs, right? It was something like we did as like a field trip almost. And we would go to this fake city with fake currency and all have jobs and work them for a day. And I was a very stubborn, argumentative person. I was really known to argue. I was like, even to the point where I went to the principal's office one time. My friend got in a snowball fight, and I went into the vice principal's office with him and argued on his behalf to try and get him out of getting in trouble for the snowball fight, like a defense attorney, right? And one of the roles was attorney, because there was a court in this fake city. And I applied for attorney. It was like the most shoo-in of all time. And the math teacher, who, by the way, I hated math. I was really bad at math. The math teacher came in from the top ropes and made me an accountant. I will never forgive him for that. Never, ever. I could have been the attorney. I was going to rock it. I was built for it. From the top ropes, he cucked me. I'll never forget. Never forget. I'm going to carry that for the rest of my life. Your Honor, he was assaulted and only thought back self-defense. That was my argument, Div. That was literally my argument. Hey, what's up on the YouTube side, Lancer? Totally not Lancer. I wonder if you're Lancer. About 2000 being the Metal Dragon year. That's pretty sick. Metal Dragon 2000. That sounds appropriate. In another life, I was the lawyer. Yeah, he made me the accountant. I was so mad. Yeah, actually crushed my dreams, right? Like even aside from like the funny part of it, it's like that's crazy to me because that was something I like was thinking about doing. Like the idea that I was going to be like a lawyer was something I'd thought about at that point in time in middle school, and that was an opportunity to like try it out at all. And I was known for doing that. And this teacher thought instead it would be funny to make me do math because I was bad at math. And that's crazy. It's like if I've been a teacher before. I don't understand that perspective at all. Wildest thing ever. You know, if I was the teacher, you let the people go what they're best at and what they're interested in, right? Crazy to me. Crazy to me. Let's see. Turns out she was telling the truth. I was the Chud Earth Rabbit born one day earlier. Oh, nothing wrong with Earth Rabbit. That's pretty cool. Why I became a prosecutor. Yeah. You hear Lancer super cool says totally not Lancer on the YouTube end. Yo, me too. I heard that too. I mean, it's a hard Supreme Court judge is a kind of hard path to stay on, right? There's like 2 of them ever, right? Like, good luck in your lifetime. There'll be 2 in your lifetime. There's gonna be like maybe a couple more. You're a rabbit person now, so it's cool. Yeah, it's fair. That's fair. Oh no, but that's the thing, Fox. I did then argue with him. So the ironic part was I was so mad about it. I went and spoke to him politely about it and argued that it was a future job opportunity for me and I would be good for the role. I did lawyering to try to get into the position of lawyer. He literally just made me an accountant because I was bad at math. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. That's crazy. Something rabbit girls are in demand. I don't know. I think Sclims are in demand. I used to sell kids random junk I'd pass off as genuine inventions for 25 cents. Yo! So my 2 friends and I with the same name could get Jawbreakers. We never managed to get them. Damn! Never? Not even once? No Jawbreakers? One time I went on a trip with a friend and we watched so much Ed, Edd and Eddy that they started eating a lot of Jawbreakers because we could get them at the candy shop. And then they ate so much sugar they couldn't move. That was a fun trip. They ate so much sugar they couldn't move for like 4 days and they were in their bed like, oh, and we've learned the hubris of Jawbreakers from that. We're veering into hustler scam territory. Hustler scam. Yeah, what's your name by any chance? Just wondering. Who's your favorite Deltarune character? I'm sorry, I haven't played Deltarune or Undertale. I'm sorry, Lancer. I'm a fake streamer. I haven't played either of them. I learned about Jujubes from Ed, Edd and Eddy, and those things are great. I vaguely remember what that is. Hustler? Yeah, well, it was cool. You used to be able to sell stuff at school. There used to be a barter system, right? Like, most schools had, like, a reward system that you could barter in, probably. Like, if you got, like, stickers or something, and you could maybe barter them if they were items. And then, like, sometimes, eventually, there was that period of time in school where people would figure out how to make, like, paper airplanes, and they'd start selling the skill. There were some real economies going on in schools. Real hardcore stuff. He missed my schemes. Oh, I missed your schemes. I'm sorry, I too. Yeah, teacher wasn't very nice. No, teacher wasn't very nice. I should go back in time. I should go back in time and write him strongly worded letters in rude fonts. Fondly remember selling a Slifer for the Sky Dragon in the bathroom. I traded one time. I made one of my best friends by giving them a bad Pokemon trade. I mean, I thought it was valid. They had a Lugia card, and I had an Alakazam holo, and they wanted the Alakazam, and I was like, would you do the Lugia for it? And he said yes. And so we traded it. But then I went back home, and I went to my aunt, who, you know, I was partially raised by, my second mom, and I was like, hey, auntie, look, I got a Lugia card by trading an Alakazam. Now, my auntie, knowing a lot about Pokemon and being hip and with it, realized that was a bad trade and brought me to his house to make me return it. But then we became best friends because we were like, do you want to come in and play Pokemon? I was like, yeah. And then we did. And then we were best friends for a long time. So that was a good outcome. But yeah, the unfortunate side effect of having a Pokemon savvy aunt who knows about Pokemon and what that means. Friend went to boarding school. Someone there had their father essentially buy the soda in bulk. He ran a black soda market. Yeah, that's what it's all about. $100 for Slifer for a GameCube. That's a good deal. That's a good deal. Yeah, Auntie was really with it. Auntie was really with it. My aunt, well, when I was too young, because I started Pokemon when I was 4, right? So obviously when I was 4, I could like read, but I didn't have patience for grinding. So I would go to school and my aunt would play my blue version to grind my Pokemon so they were ready when I came back. So I could keep playing more when I came back on my first playthrough. Then I figured it out, but... You're right in the mark there. Is the XD Gale of Darkness Special Edition? Those go for a lot. Those go for quite a bit, too. It was very sweet. It was very sweet. No, it was adorbs. It was a bit adorbs. Yeah, kind of adorbs. A little bit adorbs. Wow. Okay, folks. I'm going to get out of here now. About 3 hours. Let's go raid somebody. Thanks for coming around for a little fitness talk and stuff like that. I got to go watch Lord of the Rings before jumping on Adventure Ascension later. So you'll see me on some other people's POVs tonight. Had a good time talking with you today. Tomorrow, we're balling again. So we're going to do whatever tomorrow. We're going live. Same time, same Sclim place. Probably going to play... I should promise some games. We've done a lot of yapping. We've done a lot of yapping this week. So we're going to play some games. Some Voice of the Void, maybe. Some simulators, maybe. The retro game restoring simulator. The VHS blockbuster simulator. Stuff like that. I'm sorry no voices today, but I ended up talking for nearly 3 hours. So, sorry. All right, let's find someone to raid and get on out of here. I love you all a bunch. Thanks for coming by. Let's see who is on. Oh, is Amo just starting? Amo's running the server, so it'd be good to raid Amo. I didn't know Amo... Or is Amo ending? Almost 17 minutes in. We go Amo. We go Amo. All right, everyone. Let's go say hi to one of the heads of the server that we're going to be on later. Amo Oster. Let's say hi to Amo. Raiding Amo. And thank you for the confessions, everyone. That was a really good bit. And all the donations and stuff today. I appreciate you greatly. And I will see you tomorrow on the next one. Everybody, that's going to be Sclimbo out. Have a great one. Bye-bye.